Hey, what's the promo code?
Dangle.
That's right. Manscaped.com. Promo code Dangle. 20% off and free shipping. Go. Do it.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Powered by Sports Interaction. Canada's Sportsbook.
SDP. The Steve Dangle Podcast. With your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Let's go!
You know what's stupid?
You
know what's stupid?
Your mom.
Stupid.
Oh.
Now, I'm an only child. I don't have any brothers. But if I did, and we were both in the NHL, I'll sure as shit tell you this. I'd never cheer for them ever.
Okay.
I would never cheer for my brothers. Because fuck them.
Yeah.
And their team. Even if my team didn't make the playoffs and wasn't in the same conference.
You know, okay. Can we spend a moment on that?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So,
explain what's happening.
okay.
Yeah.
Brady Tkachuk is in the stands. Brady Tkachuk, captain of the Ottawa Senators, is in the stands in Calgary for every Flames home game, cheering on his brother, Matthew.
What a dick.
It's really cool.
Idiot.
Yeah, it is really cool.
Stupid dickhead.
But I'm not going to lie, and obviously I didn't say this out loud, but my first impulse, the first time I saw it was, boy, that's strange. It's not just that he was there watching it, it's how into it he was.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And I was like, boy, this is strange because I had never really seen something like this.
Right.
And not just an active player in the NHL, but like a star and a captain going nuts for the other team. And then I was like, why is this strange at all?
It's not strange. It's cool.
Why? It's weird that I was conditioned to think this.
Right. Right.
Because-
it's the sort of thing John Tortorella would hate. John Tortorella would hate this.
Who is not doing their job and not asking him about it?
I know. Arda
Arda,
get on that right now.
I want to hear John's bad take, and you need to lead him down the path to bad takeville.
Right. You tell PK, who's doing a great job, by the way, to stop it for just a second. We want to hear what Torts has to say. And then we want to laugh at him on Twitter about it.
PK would be great to ask about it too. He's got two
But you know
brothers
what
who play
PK's
pro.
answer would be. He'd be like, my loyalty is to my family. And that's what I love about the Tkachuks is like the Tkachuks come first in the Tkachuks world.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I didn't get the... If you asked the Sutters that, though, I'm not so sure in their playing careers it would have been the same. Like the Sutters are so... Now, they are very, stoic.
Dude, Darryl Sutter is the most unintentionally funny guy in the National Hockey League.
He's been amazing. The press conferences have been great.
His face at the end of the
But if you saw Sutter when he was playing with his 6 other brothers in the NHL...
Yep.
5 other brothers, I guess. The 6th
whatever.
didn't make it. I think they would have been like, no, it's team, I'm there. They would have been in the stands and watching, but they wouldn't have been wearing the same color as their team. They would have been wearing a suit and a tie and sitting there and being polite about it. Yes, I'm here supporting, but I can't cheer for them because that's not my team.
Hooray.
I like that the Tkachuks, who even through the contract negotiations are like when they asked Matthew about it, he's like, yeah, I hope he gets as much money as he possibly can.
Yep.
And you ask Brady's like, he's worth it. Pay him.
Yep. And Keith Tkachuk is not just in it for the Tkachuks, he's in it for Keith Tkachuk. Because did you see last night, Matthew scores the 9th goal of the game for the Flames. It's a hat-trick goal, and Keith wouldn't throw his hat.
No, it's because it's his favorite hat.
Because you read the lips,
Great
right?
quote.
He goes, it's my favorite hat.
I'm not throwing this.
No.
I love that.
I gotta be honest, I wouldn't throw. I've never been in an arena for a hat trick, and I wouldn't throw my hat.
Don't bring a hat.
What do you mean?
If I have never worn a hat to a hat trick, I've seen several hat tricks. You got to throw the hat.
What if I want to keep my hat?
Then you shouldn't have worn it. It's woe is you. You got to see your home team score a hat trick.
So you're saying even if I like my hat, I have to give it away?
Yeah,
That's ridiculous rules.
you're ridiculous.
See, when your
I
head's
don't believe
fat like
that.
mine, you never wear a hat.
Let's
You just applaud.
let's hear why it's dumb that Brady's cheering for Matthew as well. You hate fun.
I don't hate fun.
Yeah, you do.
I want to keep my
Stick to
hat.
Why
your
wouldn't you
brand.
throw your hat? Why
Stick
wouldn't
to
you
your
throw your hat?
fun.
I like
brand.
my hat. The hat I usually wear now is the SDPN hat. That I could throw because I can always just get a new one.
What is this?
Because I know where the hats come from there. But if I had like a really nice Jays hat or something that I like, or like a nice Raptors hat, I probably wouldn't throw it. How likely am I going to find that hat again? So if I don't know where I can get the hat.
Okay, This is a
You're
three-man.
gonna give away my hat?
must-
That's ridiculous.
Three-man executive here in this business. Adam, are you okay with Jesse wasting our business's money on hats?
What are you talking about? I don't
Well,
understand.
because because the Blue Jays hat is so valuable.
Right.
No,
Sure.
not the SDPN piece
No.
of shit.
The
Yeah.
SDPN hat is very replicable. I can get another one from where I know it's from.
Oh, and there's only like 3 Jays hats in the
no,
world.
but I don't know if the Jays hat I have if I go to a Lids and I can find it again. So I'm not going to throw it away if I like it because I don't know if I can find it.
I think
You're
that's
does
wrong.
that
make
because-
sense?
No, it doesn't because
What?
in actuality, the SDPN hats are rarer than the Jays hats.
Far
they're not.
more
There are
rare.
less of them.
Far
They're-
more rare.
But we can make just as many.
That is
That's
very not true.
We don't have the financial backing. So therefore, Jesse, by keeping your SDPN hat and
Yeah.
throwing your Jays hat, you are hanging on to the more rare quantity.
But I can get another one. I can't get another one of the Jays hat.
Yes, you can.
No, that specific hat? Where am I going to? I don't know if I can find
I'm
it.
going to go on BlueJays.com.
Okay, and I don't know if I can find the specific hat I'm wearing that day. Is all I'm trying to say.
Okay, first.
So let's
go down this path.
When
Let's go down this path.
Matthews scores a hat trick, I'll sit in Scotiabank Arena. I'll go on my phone. I'll check Lids to see if they have the exact same Jays hat that I'm wearing. And if they do have it, then I'll throw it. But if they don't, I'll keep it on my head.
And by the time he's done that, they've already picked up all the hats. Plays started. There's
I'll
Jesse
throw
throwing
it.
his hat on the credit.
I'll throw it between the next period or whatever plays happen.
And while you're doing that,
Yeah.
I'm going to run out into the concourse,
Yeah.
grab 5 or 6 phone books, stack them, climb them, take the hat off your head, and throw it onto the ice.
I don't believe in throwing hats during hat tricks if you like your hat.
I do. Okay,
I'm with Mr. Kachuk here.
here's the one I'm iffy on because it looks wrong. Where are you at on the toque?
Throwing the toque. I support it if you get it over the glass because
hard.
you have to fling.
you can't throw a
can't.
toque.
So you have to frisbee a hat and fling it too.
If you accomplish
That's a
that,
great point.
you get a beer or something. You get a high five.
Yeah.
You get a high five at least.
It's like
you
the
know?
teddy bear tosses they
Yeah.
do in the OHL. I'm like, how did they get that from the second deck to the first deck?
Yeah.
Okay, so the answer is, because I've been there for one of these, the answer is they didn't. And if you're sitting in the lower bowl, you're just going to get pelted.
Oh, okay, all right, fair enough.
with tiny stuffed animals. There's a viral video from a London Knights game of a guy throwing one of those like 10-foot teddy bears over the glass, and that's my dad's cousin. He's like the London Knights fan. Yeah, it runs in the family. We're all unreasonable when it comes to hockey.
Adam, I know you have an early bedtime, so you didn't catch Battle of Alberta with Steve Dangle. But Steve, there was a moment where the stream was not working, like you couldn't watch the game. And Steve said,
that was difficult.
And Steve said, I have to tap dance for a moment. I don't know how, but my cousin does. What do you think of that line?
My cousin does. I don't know how. Do you have a cousin that tap dances?
Yeah, literally. Like she's been in plays and stuff.
Did you explain that?
No. I thought
an
it was just a funny
interesting-
thing to say. I thought it was a funny thing to say.
As a person who produces other shows, what I would tell you as somebody who is hosting that is context is key.
I thought
It's
it was
really
I thought it was
important.
a
Adam,
cheeky
have they
line
ever-
as well.
Have they ever on Virgin been like, by the way, there's going to be no music for the next 20 minutes. So just like, do your thing.
I think do it here. We talk for 20 minutes without any music.
Yeah, but you come in anticipating it. I was talking and randomly the game shut off. So I was like, all right, I'm going to tap dance. And then the first thing I thought of was my cousin Stephanie tap dances.
I thought it was not bad, but it needed some context.
Yeah?
You needed to explain that as true, because that makes it even funnier. But I thought it was like not bad.
So I
just wanted to get your thoughts
I'll
on-
workshop my material next time.
I want to get your thoughts on Steve's
Freaking
quirky
John
lines.
Mulaney over here. Jeez. Come on, man.
Wow.
I have it was
One
I
more,
did my thing.
One more time. Give it to us.
Well, sorry everyone. I got to tap dance for a minute here. I'm not as good at it as my cousin. My cousin's actually a tap dancer. She's been in many plays. It's true. Anyway, here, look, the game's back. And it's 3-1 Calgary. Listen.
I'm liking it less and less the more I hear.
Wow.
I think you liked it because it was like 11:30 at night.
Yeah, if that might have been.
You can get
midnight.
away with the worse. The later it is, the worse it can be. And that's like the rule. And
True.
that's why when I started on the air, they put me on overnights. And it's weird because when we used to have live overnight shifts, you develop like a cult-like following. You weren't any good, but you just happened to be awake and connecting with the other cretins that were awake.
I don't like where this is going.
Well, no,
continue.
I'm not saying that about you. Obviously, you're pretty good at what you do, Steve. I don't think anybody's denying that.
Yeah? I don't know.
Okay, I want to ask this. How does Alberta feel about you being the guy doing the streams for the Battle of Alberta?
So I got less death threats than anticipated.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Happy.
Nice.
That's good.
Yeah, fewer people telling me that they would rather die than watch me, or that they would happily watch me fall off a bike.
Wow. Okay.
People know they don't have to watch it, right?
No.
They can turn on their television.
No.
I gotta log on and tell you about it.
No. Well, no. Most. You know what? I do appreciate the Oilers fans who saw that tweet that I made earlier in the day of the Oilers fans who were not stoked to watch me in the Battle of Alberta. And a lot of Oilers fans who listened to the show took it as like a challenge. Like, no, we're backing Steve here, and we want him to cheer for our team so that they can win. And then there were some people who were like, well, actually, no, we want Steve to cheer for the other team
so that we can win.
So that we can win.
Yeah.
And Calgary Flames fans, as usual, far less passionate about everything, except for their own team.
Yes.
It's weird. Like, when it comes to the drama, they're just not interested, for or against.
No. Edmonton.
As an outside observer,
Both
Edmonton wants the smoke.
The whole body.
You can die on every hill. That's Edmonton's motto. That is Edmonton's motto. Watch me die on this hill.
Man, I was just going back and forth with I got to shout you out because you're Eric Krause, who's like longtime listener, a really nice guy, whatever, but he was giving me shit. He also
why did you have a joke?
He's an
that
Oil
wasn't
Kings
that
reporter.
good at 11:30 at night.
I was talking about some of the sports interaction odds, and obviously, we were talking about who's going to have more points over the course of the series, Gaudreau or McDavid, and that prop's closed right now, obviously. But I said I know it's more than likely going to be Connor. But, just to be crazy, considering the difference in goaltending skill, maybe we go with Johnny on this one.
Woo.
And he said, Markstrom has been statistically horrible against the Oilers. Smith has played better against the Flames. What goaltending skill? And I wrote him back this morning. And then he made a comment about the Toronto media. And so I wrote him back this morning. And I'm like, the kind of goaltending skill that doesn't allow 2 goals in the first 51 seconds.
Man.
And listen. And by the way, Eric, this is so unfair. I've just blasted you here, but you were a really good sport about it. I think it's kind of funny how last night unfolded, because as I said yesterday, you have no idea how this series is going to go. And I think after last night, after that game, you still, not a single person watching, not a single person who saw the game, not a single person like me who had to go to bed and then watch the highlights in the morning, knows how that series is actually going to be. Mm-hmm. We still don't know what the Battle of Alberta is, because I don't believe it's 9-6.
I'd be shocked. It broke the record for most goals in a Battle of Alberta playoff game.
Okay.
The previous record was 12 goals in a game from 1983. Right? So we're talking one of the most ridiculous, not just scoring eras, but scoring years in NHL history.
It's of the ridiculous era. 86 is like the ridiculous year. Isn't that the year Gretzky got 215?
Oh man, I don't remember.
It's like crazy.
It's right in there, right? There was a 5-year stretch there in the 80s where, I mean, if you didn't get 100 points, you were a bum.
Yeah, like what are you even doing?
Go quit the NHL, you bum.
Right.
Where's your triple digits, bum? And they had 15 last night. The record for most goals in a playoff game, period, is 18.
By the way, Gretzky did get
close.
215 in 86. That's his career high.
You nailed it.
That's goofy. Now, I wanted to ask you about this because just this morning, it's crazy how the odds have changed. I don't know what kind of, if you looked at pre-series, what the bets were going to be, but based on last night's game, the chasm between what the odds makers, especially at Sports Interaction, are saying the Flames are going to be, it's like Flames are at -400, Edmonton 298, and the low, basically the best odds, at least according to the odds makers right now, is that Calgary's going to win this series 4-1. It's a +275.
They're heavy favorites.
Heavy, and I don't believe it was like that yesterday, but I think, and I don't know that it should be weighted that heavily. Should it?
I think it's Mike Smith.
It's yeah. So Koskinen was the best goalie of the three Like Mike Smith allowed 3 goals in 6 minutes and 5 seconds, 2 goals in 51 seconds, and he might not have been the worst goalie in the game. Markstrom locked it down at the end, but
It was pretty rough.
He had an awful game.
When goal number 6 went in, he was shocking.
Yeah.
Neither Hyman goal should have gone in.
Both, they're the same goal.
They're the same piece of shit goal. No offense, Zach, obviously.
I would love a couple piece of shit goals to go the Leafs way in the
Oh
postseason.
my God.
I'd love a couple of those piece of shit goals.
There were more hunk of shit goals in that game than there were in the entire Tampa Leafs series.
Yeah.
Dude, it was, and then Draisaitl scores. It's a 2-on-1, so it's a little bit more forgivable, but the puck is on its 90 degrees.
Yeah.
And Draisaitl puts it in the exact same spot.
Yep.
Right above the pad, right under the glove. And apparently that's a Vezina candidate's kryptonite. Like that was the most mind-bending part of it. And then the Mike Smith goals weren't any good, the first 2. And Koskinen was far and away the best goalie in the game. And he allowed Smith allowed 3, so he allowed 6.
Right. And he was the best goalie.
And he was far and away the best goalie.
I was
that
looking
game.
at the Stanley Cup odds, the outright winner of the Stanley Cup on sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. And the Calgary Flames are second most likely to win the Stanley Cup based on the odds. It's Colorado and then Calgary. And I don't know if I see it that way at all.
No.
I
What are the numbers on it associated? Do you have
5.5 is on the decimal odds for Calgary.
Really?
Florida's 6.6, Tampa's 6.67, Colorado's 2.9.
Rangers and Blues getting killed.
Yeah, they're way back. They're 21-1 and 25-1. Rangers and Blues, 12-1 for the Oilers. But it's just, I don't know. I believe in Tampa pulling out a Stanley Cup more than I do Calgary. Even Florida, Carolina looked.
No, you don't believe in Florida.
Tampa's got better odds at winning the cup than Florida?
Yes,
no,
Florida.
Of course
they do.
I don't agree.
Of course
Right?
they do. You don't?
Or no, sorry, Florida has better odds.
Florida has better
I
odds
thought
to
you
win
were
the
saying-
Stanley
Did I
Cup.
say the opposite? My bad.
sorry, no, okay.
Yeah, Florida has better odds than
The
Tampa.
odds
That doesn't make any
makers
sense.
think that the 1, 2, 3, 4 is Colorado, Calgary, Florida, Tampa.
Yeah, no. Well, and it's funny because
No.
2 of those teams are already playing each other, and the other 2 probably will.
Yeah.
Right. Hi. So my question is, I was shocked when I went back through the game because I went through the game logs a little bit. Obviously, saw the highlights, then saw the game in 6, did a little thing. And what blew me away was that no one is upset about the Cassian penalty after the Evan Bouchard goal.
Oh, is it so stupid?
Zach Cassian cost the Oilers the game.
He did, but based on playoff precedent, I'm surprised he was the only one to go. I was. We didn't get a clear
they
shot
had
of it on the broadcast.
but they
All we
just
saw was
scored.
a couple bodies.
Yeah, but they just scored, and then he threw it.
It was needless.
And
He
that's the kind of shit
he was. A
they would
net,
have been tied.
He was a net negative for the Oilers. Yeah, it's
Later on, obviously. But you know what I'm saying, right? There's no need for that.
No, they're trying to crawl back in the game. It's 5-1. They score to make it 5-2.
And then he takes the penalty.
He takes a penalty, and Matthew Tkachuk scores in the power play after that. And I mean, I think what I said in the moment was dumb penalty, and now the game is over. Sure enough, the Oilers tie it at 6. But
they would have been ahead.
Again, yeah, right.
And imagine the Oilers go up a goal.
It sure seemed inevitable.
Different game though, right?
Yeah.
They roared back at the end of the second, then they tie it up almost immediately in the third, and it seemed like the Oilers winning that game was inevitable.
At no point did they lead in that entire game.
No,
Which is
and it was
unbelievable.
tied
Yeah.
for very little time. It was
Right.
tied for 25 seconds to start the game, and I don't know the gap between 6-6 and 7-6.
128 and 257. So Yamamoto ties it, and then Anderson scores a minute and a half later.
It was
Yeah.
tied for less than a total of 3 minutes all game.
And
Man.
so you would have had a 6-5 lead right out the start of you would have been tied going into the third period. You have a 6-5 lead at that point. And I really want to hyper focus on this thing because it's dumb shit like what Cassian did.
Yeah.
Because it's the dumb shit like what Kerfoot did. It's the dumb shit penalties from good players. Cassian's a useful player on the Edmonton Oilers. I'm not diminishing that. I'm not saying he shouldn't be there. I'm not saying that he hasn't earned his place or that he's not a valuable part of the team. You can't do that shit. And I know that Milan Lucic takes dumb penalties from time to time, But that guy has found a way in the same Zach Cassian mold to be useful and not take penalties right after you score a fucking goal.
The Lucic hit on McDavid made me laugh because, like, man.
Aren't they buddies too?
Well, McDavid, there's an old clip of him when he was with the Erie Otters. They're like, who are your dream line mates? And one of them was Milan Lucic. And then they ended up playing together in Edmonton, right? So, yeah, I think they are buddies. And Lucic is getting the full Battle of Alberta experience, having been on both sides of it, right? But, oh, man. And here's another thing as a neutral observer now, getting to hyper-focus on Connor McDavid, not just Connor McDavid, but Connor McDavid in the playoffs. We've talked at many points throughout the season that Matthews needs to be able to draw more penalties. And it's not that he doesn't do things that draw penalties. It's that they don't call it. McDavid drew 2 last night, which is 2 more than he did all of last year in the playoffs.
Oh my God, that's so sad when you say it.
And it's still not even half of what should have been called. Like, the amount of attention this guy absorbs, you really do have to watch how the other team defends him. That's the best player in the league.
Yes.
It isn't close. Love Austin. It's not close. No one in my lifetime has drawn the attention that this guy draws. No one. Not even Crosby. Crosby's the only one who comes close. He's got a backpack on him at every time. At all times. And Backlund, I thought, made a bit of a business decision. So he took a cross-checking penalty on McDavid, and it got called. To me, that's a penalty worth taking, especially if you're up big in the game like Calgary was. It's a penalty worth taking because it's game 1. You have Wes McCauley and Eric Furlat, who heading into that game had the fewest penalties called per game in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And you cross-check McDavid to see if they're going to call it. I'm the guy who's going to be shadowing him all series. Let's see what the precedent is. He does it. He gets called. All right, I can't get away with it. They're calling it a little differently this year. And then the other one was Shillington. Shillington with a takedown of McDavid that would have been perfectly legal last year with the Jets. And it's enormously not legal at all.
No, but McDavid was one of the NHLers who said, please call the game. Please call the standard of the game.
Like, no one deals with, well, this is a little ironic to say now because Killorn held on to Matthews' jersey for over 5 seconds. So, Matthews does get this sometimes. But the amount of, like, just the little swipes to just hold you back a little bit. The swipes that turn into, like, a mini shoulder, just all this little shit they do to somehow slow down the fastest torpedo of a human being in the entire world. It's amazing, the stuff that Connor McDavid has to contend with every single night. Dude, that's results and points, which he leads, by the way, don't properly illustrate how much of a black hole this guy is for attention on the ice.
Right. But on the other side of that, the Edmonton Oilers, for most of that game, had Markstrom been a normal goalie, Edmonton was outchanced, they were outshot, they were outplayed the whole time. McDavid was the only one. And I know that Hyman had his moments and Draisaitl was great, but when I think when Edmonton tied up the game, it was like shots were like 40-18.
Oh, it was absolutely ridiculous. And until Calgary locked it up at the end, they were on pace to get 60 shots for 75% of that game. Like, it was not close. Wasn't even sort of close. So, if you're a coach and you're looking for how to prepare for game 2, if you're Jay Woodcroft, you look at Mike Smith's performance, and I think you got to throw that out. And I think he's got to start game 2.
He's old enough that he can forget that.
Well, and if he blows it again, then you go to Koskinen. Then I think your decision's made.
Then
for
you're
you.
desperate.
Then you're desperate. But I think game 2, you got to go back to Mike Smith. He was great for you in that series against the Kings. You go, forget it. Don't worry about it. Let's start again. If you're Darryl Sutter with Markstrom, who I can't believe he left in that game, you go, you know what? We're going to forget this as well. So you throw that out. The one thing you cannot throw out is Calgary dominated Edmonton for all of about, I'd say the entire game, maybe minus 10 minutes. 10 minutes might be generous.
Mm-hmm.
Edmonton couldn't get out of the zone. When they did, they just gave possession right back to Calgary. Every time it ended up in the Edmonton zone, it was there to stay. It was there deep. Calgary would work it back to the point. There's no one there. They weren't able to counterattack and, get these little odd man rushes with a pick at the point. They maybe got one or two. Edmonton was completely outclassed by the Calgary Flames, and that's what you can't throw out.
Edmonton almost stole the game from the Flames.
Oh,
Calgary,
man, real close.
but at the end here, Calgary wins the game. They win all the battles, and they won the emotional battles. Like when, did you see Tkachuk and Evander Kane going at it when Shillington went off as well? And it was so funny because, the Tkachuk had the money chirp, right? Like, you need some money or whatever. And then they're yapping each other in the box, and Tkachuk is the guy that the Flames, choose to go on the ice. He scores the goal, and Shillington looks over at Kane and just kind of laughs.
That was a really funny moment. But, so I learned last night that that's a rule.
I didn't know that was a rule either.
That's
I woke
the
up this morning. I was
dumbest
like, what?
rule ever. That's the dumbest rule ever. So here's what happened. The Shillington penalty that I already cited on McDavid, that happens first. That happens. Number one happens right there. But I guess according to the game clock, that penalty and Tkachuk's penalty and Kane's penalty all happen at the exact same moment. So for the purposes of the game clock, when the whistle is blown, when play is dead, all those penalties happen at the same time. So Shillington goes off, and then Kane and Tkachuk get coincidentals.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, the Oilers don't lose a guy because Kane's off. The Flames don't lose a guy because Tkachuk's off, but the Flames do lose a guy because Shillington's off. Mm-hmm. The Flames then get the choice of who they want to come out of the box between Tkachuk and Shillington. They choose Tkachuk. Tkachuk is on the ice while Shillington and Kane are still in the box, and Tkachuk scores. What ended up being, was it the game-winning goal? No, it was the 8th goal. It was the insurance marker. And Tim Peel was on Twitter going, well, no, that's the rule. How is that the rule? Why? How does that make any sense?
It's you're canceling out all the penalties, and then the captain gets to choose which penalty actually stands.
Oh, I
That's
understand it.
I don't know. I don't have a problem with that.
I don't mind it.
Yeah.
Well,
How else do you want it to decide?
The logical way, which is Shillington takes the penalty. Kane and Tkachuk are in the penalty box because of each other.
Mm-hmm.
So Shillington, the first guy to take a penalty, is the first guy out of the box.
But as you explained, he's not the first because they all happen when clock stops.
Oh, I understand why.
Yeah.
I just think it's a little, I don't know, it's a little, I don't know.
I think it's
pedantic.
like
it's a little
one,
silly.
It's a 1 in 1,000 chance that it actually means anything.
Well, I'm 34 and this is the first time I've ever noticed it ever.
But
Right.
of course it happens in a game of consequence.
Sure.
And it's very typical
goal
of the NHL to try to, whenever you get an advantage, the NHL rules push it so you don't have one. like there's it's like the playoff seeding. It's like, hey, you've earned this really great spot and you got to play the team that's just as good as you. Mm-hmm. Does it make sense? No, but it's the way the NHL has decided to do it. Is they want you to never have an advantage ever. It's why we have loser points. It doesn't make sense, but we're doing it.
It's always the worst when a defenseman takes a penalty because even when they come out of the box, now you got 3 defensemen on the ice.
Yeah.
Right? So Calgary would it's a decided tactical advantage that they get. Tkachuk
But Edmonton just had a decided tactical advantage because they had the penalty power play.
They should have.
Yeah.
They earned it.
Right.
Whereas Calgary chose it. And I think that doesn't make any sense.
Since we're rewriting the rule book, should you be able to ice the puck on a penalty kill?
Yes.
Oh, dude, I hate it.
Me too.
I hate it.
They used to not do that, but then I think Maurice Richard scored like 4 goals in one power play in the 60s, and that's when they changed the rule. I'm pretty sure that's how
you're talking about
a goal should stop the power play. I'm talking about just icing the puck.
Oh,
I'm
pretty sure that was a part of it too. They ended power plays at 1 goal, and I'm pretty sure that icing the puck during the power play was.
Yeah, but
you would get
he
charged in
couldn't
icing.
score 4 goals. Is what I'm just saying.
Oh yeah,
The
yeah.
Montreal-
But I'm just saying,
you
no,
can
both
score-
of those rules I think changed because of that one event. It's
Right.
crazy.
The Montreal Canadiens power play of a certain era, I can't remember the exact years, basically rewrote the power play rule book.
Oh my god, they were so good.
I don't think you should. If you are at a disadvantage, why do you gain an advantage to ice the puck down the
Because
ice?
it's
I
about,
totally agree.
Because it's
I
about
don't
being as even
understand.
as possible, gentlemen. Why wouldn't we? We still get 9-6 games. We still get
Oh,
9-6 games.
God.
That's what they'll tell you.
It's like you see a defensive player get the puck with more than 6 feet in front of him, and you're like, oh, okay, the attack's dead. Because they just go, huh, and you're able to kill 20 seconds. Don't take a penalty.
Right.
Don't be an idiot.
Don't be an idiot.
So the takeaways from the game are that's not the series. That's not the series.
No, it was a fun game.
Yeah, totally.
Wild. Yeah.
And
really
I
fun.
love that Kachuk afterwards was like, "That's the worst game we've ever played."
Oh yeah.
Dude.
In the press conference, he's like, "Yeah, it's terrible. It's brutal. Hat trick, brutal game."
It was. Like, Darryl Sutter must have been the most upset coach at a 9-6 win.
I've never seen. I was expecting because when I saw the press conference this morning, I'm like, he's got to be upset. Was not upset at all.
I like his,
funny.
yeah, we had a really boring Dallas series, so I said, all right, guys, we got to have a fun one.
Right.
Something along those lines.
Maybe they needed to get it out. Now, moving on, how Leafs is this? The New York Rangers hold the lead until 1 minute and 38 seconds to go. Carolina scores, tie it up, and then Ian Cole scores in overtime right under Shesterkin's glove. And
It's very 2013 Leafs.
yeah.
It made me feel nostalgic.
Well, because they stood on the goaltender?
They stood on the goaltender, still lost. And the overtime winner goes off their own guy.
Oh.
Dude.
Oh yeah, I forgot
about that.
the game winner was a tip drill by the Rangers into their own net. It was amazing.
Oh, Lindgren.
man.
Buddy. He's in Dangits, which I shot last night after the stream.
Oh my god.
By the way, only 2 penalties called in this entire game.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Good on the Rangers and Hurricanes for playing completely infractionless hockey. It's so funny that this year they're very obviously trying to have some sort of correction when it comes to calling penalties in the playoffs, but not every night. Like not every night and not every series. You know what I mean? Like Wes McCauley and Eric Furlatt calling as many penalties as they did is like that's unbelievable for the Oilers Flames. Rangers Hurricanes is a lot more along the lines of what you expect. You know, and early in the series too. But what's weird is when a series starts like that, you expect every series to end like that.
Yeah.
You're not going to get like 8 power plays in game 6 or 7. Now game 2 is going to be a carnival. The carnival game is coming.
So you
It's
think
gonna be game
do you
2
think
or
Calgary?
3?
Do you think the Calgary Edmonton series goes the opposite way? In New York and Carolina and New York have their goofy game in game 2.
It definitely could. It definitely could. The only difference is because of McDavid, there's more of a hyper focus.
Sure.
You know, if you only call the penalties on McDavid, you still get 2 power plays.
What do you think the odds are? The best odds for this series to finish? Like, what is it?
Carolina?
5 games, 6 games, 7 games, or 4 games?
Carolina in 5.
I'm going to say Carolina in 6.
Well, you don't even have to pick a team. Just what do you think? When will the series finish? 5, 6, 7, or 4?
6.
6. Jesse, what do you think?
5.
So 5 is the odds-on favorite. Obviously, Carolina being the one.
You know who's gonna make sure this series ends quick? Antti Ranta.
Man, what a
I'm not.
Wow.
I'm not a proponent of guys losing their jobs because of injury. But if Freddie, as soon as you're healthy, you the net's not yours.
Again.
Like Ranta's been
Again.
unbelievable.
Well, and like, okay, no Carolina fan wants to think about this right now, but neutral party, Carolina's got to trade a goalie this offseason. Dude, they have 3.
Time to think about that is not now.
well for us it is.
No,
we
I'm
sure
on
could
it.
use a goalie.
I'm going to give us Ranta. Give us Ranta right now.
friendly. Let's go.
You want Seth Jarvis again? We got it for you, baby.
So the Ranta deal is $2 million through next year.
Ooh.
Freddie is 4.5 through next year. You could hang on to them both. I think for 6.5, you're hanging on.
But
for
you
both
have a
Oh,
third
you super
goalie.
don't need to.
But
Sorry?
You have a third goal.
You do have a third goalie.
But the haul you can get for one of these two is pretty significant.
but okay, so
But you're a contender,
So the thing is with
Right.
Ranta is that Freddie played all year until Ranta wasn't hurt, and then now that Freddie got hurt because Freddie does because he plays too much.
Yeah.
You as a coach of Freddie Anderson, please tell him to play less games. Because it happened every year.
happened again.
It happened again this year.
happened again.
Only they've got a comparable backup that's good.
So you should hang on to them both.
I think so.
What they'll do is keep Freddie, keep Ranta, Kachekov in the minors, and then once
One of them gets
one
injured.
of Freddie or there's injuries also.
They will get injured. They
But-
will. They both are injury prone every year.
They are. But let's say they stay healthy. One of the contracts expires. Kachekov comes up. But the fact that they're this good and that option is available to them, Carolina, again and always, just always seems to have an embarrassment of riches.
Yeah, and the price tags on these two goalies is really reasonable.
Man.
$2 million
Super
and
reasonable.
4.5 is really nice.
Odds makers are not giving Rangers much of a chance here. I just want to throw this out there that there's a bet on Sports Interaction that is leader after 4 games. So is it Carolina, is it a draw, or is it New York? Okay.
Ooh.
So the best, obviously the favorite is that Carolina is 3-1. And that's a 1.58. There's the draw at 280. The Rangers being up 3-1 is 11.02.
Jesus.
Wow.
Pretty
Have
rough.
Not what? Can we get Dave Bassel to Google Igor Shesterkin?
I know. Well, they were a minute away from winning.
Dude. Oh my God. That's a haunting loss, man.
Yeah.
That's a really haunting loss.
Yeah.
And you could see it in Shesterkin's eyes. Like that's more than we lost a game. It was, Jesus, I don't have more to give than that.
That's one you have to steal.
There have been some, after a regular season that saw save percentages plummet basically league wide, we've seen some truly stupid goaltending performances.
We sure have.
Shesterkin, Ottinger, the opposite in Calgary last night. Man, there have been some really unbelievable.
You're not going to mention your guy?
Who's my guy?
Connor Ingram.
Connor Ingram.
Yeah.
On both sides of the coin.
Steve was
both
right
sides
about
of the coin.
Ingram.
I
And then
knew
he
I
wasn't.
had-
Until he was.
I had another name and it vanished. I'm running on fumes today.
In a tiny apartment in Southern California, 2 college dropouts teamed up to create a watch company that broke all the rules. It kind of sounds like us, Steve.
Yeah.
One college and university dropout teamed up with a guy that actually graduated and started a hockey podcast, and they were joined by another guy who didn't drop out. That will be our ad.
You know, it actually doesn't sound similar at all now that you mention
Okay,
it.
so,
Yeah.
but what you should check out is Movement. They've grown into one of the fastest growing watch brands in the world, shipping over 160 countries. It's incredible. We actually have these watches. They're amazing. And listen, you want to get a watch that matches your personality and style, and Movement's got that for you. They got the look and quality of like a $400 or $500 watch.
This is very important when it comes to the show. Does it tell time?
It does tell time.
Oh!
And it looks good, and you don't pay a
Perfect.
big price for it. And here's the thing: we want to knock a little more price off that for you. Join the Movement, 15% off today with free shipping and free returns by going to movement.com. That's mvmt.com/dangle. mvmt.com movement/dangle. So after the Game 7 loss, you know what I did?
Cried?
Cried. Walked up the street a little bit with Jesse, and then we parted ways. And Natalie and I went our way, and Gabby and Jesse went their ways. And I ended up back at home, and I thought, you know what? I need to shake this off. So I jumped in the shower,
There's no way this is the ad that I think.
and I lathered on the new Ultra Premium Body Wash and Aloe Vera with sea salt to keep your skin feeling clean and moisturized all day. Oh, God. But instead, for me, I needed it all night, and it smells fantastic. And that is from manscaped.com. Use that promo code DANGLE. And quite literally, you can do that. And then you can do what I did secondly, which is I like to shampoo second because I'm crazy. But I don't want to shampoo and conditioner separately. I want them together. And that's what Manscaped has for you. It's
You don't
all in
have
one.
time to do both.
It's a clean formula. I don't have time to do both. I had to go to bed.
No.
I need to sleep.
You got to shave your balls.
That's right. It smells of coconut water, green tea, and turmeric and sage. Come on. Get into it. Manscaped.com, promo code Dangle. We've been talking about these guys forever, and the reason that they keep coming back is because you keep going, oh my God, I discovered Manscaped and it's amazing. So use the promo code DANGLE. Get 20% off. Get free shipping, manscaped.com. Guys, let's talk about Magic Spoon.
Oh, it's spicy!
Habanero.
It doesn't come in habanero.
Ghost pepper. Jalapeno.
Listen, somebody reached out the other day and they said, Adam, get your stomach checked out. And I said, you know what? With Magic Spoon, I don't need to.
Oh.
0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs each serving. It's a 140 calorie serving. It's keto friendly, it's gluten friendly, it's grain free, it's soy free, it's low carb, and available in a ton of flavors, not including habanero, at least not yet. We put the request in. Okay? So, magicspoon.com. The promo code is SDP, and you need to grab a bundle of cereal. Use that promo code SDP to save $5 off your first order. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you do not like it for any reason, they will refund your money.
But have you ever done that?
No, I haven't. Remember, your next delicious bowl of cereal is guilt-free at magicspoon.com/SDP. That's SDP is the promo code. Save your $5. Thank you, Magic Spoon, for sponsoring this episode.
I like the cookies and cream.
Who doesn't?
Sports Interaction is your home for NHL playoff betting. You know, for those teams that you cheer for. Right, Steve?
I bet on the Leafs to win by 2. You don't always win. It's not guaranteed.
I bet on the Leafs to win as well in the seat while we were at the game. I bet on the Leafs plus 1.5, and my bet hit.
In-game.
Unfortunately, on Sports Interaction, I won money on the Leafs losing.
Wait. You bet against them?
No. I bet them to win, but I got plus 1.5 goals.
Oh.
So I live bet. I love live betting the Leafs when they're down, and I did it when they're down 1-0 on sportsinteraction.com, and I won, but the Leafs lost.
So Sports Interaction, you already know, it's Canada's sports book with the most competitive odds. Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, easy to play, easy to cash out. Kind of like what Jesse did. Join now and see all the sports betting has to offer. Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. That's sportsinteraction.com/SDPN, which is what Jesse did mid-game. 18 plus. Please play responsibly. I want to talk about this here. The perennial second round and out Avalanche.
Boo.
Just snuck out a win against the Blues.
Oh, Binnington as well.
Binnington, another guy. Well, literally, it's...
You see how Jesse has made the Blues his brand? I pointed right at him.
I'm riding with them.
He's not even a Blues fan. He's a Billy Husso guy.
But I'm riding with the Blues because of Husso. And that battle that he has with Binnington. And it's been very exciting to see Binnington steal back the net and be unbelievable.
When Kyrou tied that game up, I was like, this is trouble. And they sure look... You were right. The Blues are slow.
Oh, they're so slow. Except for him.
Do you have the shots in overtime?
The shots... In overtime, I don't have them, but I have the total shots in the game.
Oh, I believe the shots in overtime were 13-0.
How many goals can you score if there's 0 shots?
Not many.
The overtime wasn't close. Colorado just hemmed them in, and they were going to score no matter what, and they did.
The shots on goal throughout the game, 52-25, and I'm assuming 13 of those came coming in overtime. But that's still 41-25, even if you don't count overtime. So it's not great.
When the post-game hug was a who's who of, oh yeah, I forgot they got that guy.
Right.
Josh Manson scores. Oh yeah, I forgot they got that guy. Hugs Arturi Lehkonen. Oh yeah, I forgot they got that guy.
Some smart pickups by the Avalanche.
Oh, yeah.
So. They are the odds-on favorite, by the way, from Sports Interaction to get out of the Western Conference.
Yeah, I don't know.
And they are like you guys said, they're the outright Stanley Cup winner by 2 points, 2.5.
Man,
that's nuts.
I'm not cheering against the Oilers, obviously, but it'll be cool seeing Colorado play Calgary if that's how it pans out, because Darryl Sutter has clearly been preparing his team to play Colorado for several months now.
I want to throw this at you, too. If you're St. Louis and you want to have a chance in this series, other than Binnington being what he's been recently, not what he was before this, you can't get this. 2 minutes for hooking. 2 minutes for hooking. 2 minutes for high stick. That will kill you.
Did you see the high stick?
I did. It's a high stick. It's a high stick. All day, it's a high stick.
There needs to be a new name for it. Sticking. Like, it wasn't high. He was on his knees.
Still, it's above that the area, right? So
It hit him in the face. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with where it is on the ice. It's where it is on the individual you make contact.
Right, and that's the whole point of a high stick penalty is to avoid. And by the way, high sticking was a penalty more than 100 years ago when this was only played at universities. And they realized at that time, hey, when a stick hits someone in the head, bad things happen. We're not quite sure what it is yet, but we know sticks to the head are not desirable.
No Blues fan wants to hear this, and I understand that. You'll get an unsportsmanlike penalty for saying a nasty thing to the ref. Destroying NHL property in the penalty box, totally fine.
Oh, yeah.
Braden Shen destroys the camera, as we've seen many times before.
It always makes for a good highlight.
The high stick.
Oh,
it's a goofy call.
And it's a follow through.
You got it, guys.
I know.
So was the call on Kerfoot when literally Hedman was like, "Come hither, Kerfoot stick, hit me in the mouth."
I know. Well, Braden Shen doesn't even know Manson is down on his knees behind him.
Hold on to your stick.
Yeah.
Okay.
You gotta
Keep control of your stick. Yo, if I'm listen, I'm not asking Blues fans to like it. I'm pulling for the Blues. But
to me,
what are they going to do?
I know you need to have control of the stick. There has to be some reason there. You know what I mean?
No, you know what happens when they leave reason.
They fuck it up.
Yep.
Yeah.
You cannot leave reason.
Totally right.
No reason. You guys know this. Blues fans and Avs fans, you know this.
Yeah.
There can be no reason when it comes to high stick.
Well, here's the secret sauce for the St. Louis Blues. When does Craig Berube complain about the penalty calls? It won them the Stanley Cup.
Refresh us.
Stop.
It won them
Refresh
the
us.
Stanley Cup.
Refresh
The
us.
Bruins were running the Blues out of that series. The Blues took way too many penalties in the first two games. Carl Gunnarsson, I think, scored the overtime game winner in game 2. The only goal he ever scored as a Blue in 60 games in the Stanley Cup playoffs was a Stanley Cup final game winner in overtime.
Had to be.
Absolutely. Stanley Cup champion Carl Gunnarsson gives it to Alex Steen, and we all slowly die. But Craig Berube basically went, "Hey guys, that's enough. We're in the Stanley Cup final," and the refs went, "Okay," and you were basically allowed to get away with everything.
Mm-hmm.
And Bruins fans will, I'm sure, remember Tyler Bozak with what should have been a penalty on Achari. Was it? I don't remember who it was. Directly leads to what I think was the game-winning goal.
Mm-hmm.
The Blues go on to win the series. Boston was winning that series early on.
I have a question for the Florida Panthers, if they're listening, or their management, or their coaching staff. Did you guys watch 1 minute? 1 minute of the Leafs Tampa Bay Lightning series? Did you guys watch 1 minute? Because I see one glaring thing that tells me you didn't. And you were unprepared and cost you the game.
What's that?
I'm going to go through some stats, okay?
Gimme.
These are called box score stats, also known as not fucking advanced, but pretty fucking easy.
You get them out of your newspaper.
That's right. Next to Damian Cox's bald head.
Oh, no.
The Leafs pat themselves on the back. You saw that headline, right?
No, I don't.
No, that's the Leafs brass pat themselves on the back for another job well done. That's
It's weird he'd take the negative end.
I know, right? It's crazy. Anyway, shots on goal. 36-34, Tampa to Florida. That's not bad. Pretty even. Hits 30-30.
Hey.
Dead even.
Dead heat.
Face-offs won 29, Tampa 30, Florida.
Dead heat.
Wow.
Penalty minutes.
Oh, boy.
Tampa 8, Florida 14.
Man.
And let me show you this, okay? Because Florida opened the scoring. Duclair had his first goal of the playoffs. Yep. But here's what they do.
What a goal, too. That was a really nice goal.
27 seconds in, Florida's killing it a penalty because of Mackenzie Weegar for tripping. Mm-hmm. And again, let me run through what these penalties were. Then we got Anthony Duclair after scoring. He's got his high stick. Thankfully, they don't score on that. And then you've got Sherratt cross-check, Weegar hooking, Montour high stick, Forsling roughing, and then a delay of game served by Patrick Hornquist, which was a too many men call.
So the first 5 penalties there are stick penalties.
Stick infractions.
Yeah.
If you saw the Leafs series, you know the one thing that you really can point to where the Leafs and Lightning differed is the stick infractions.
How screwed is Ben Sherratt now that cross-checking is not allowed?
He's not worth the first round pick anymore, that's for sure. He can't wear you down the same way. It's crazy. When you can't put carbon fiber through someone's literal back, it's shocking how he loses value. Now let me throw this at you guys. Like, this is all totally clean up. Like you could clean this up. You could fix this.
Absolutely.
But the Leafs didn't fix it against Tampa. And it's not like Tampa's doing anything to make you do this. They're playing you hard. And what they do is they're so fast that they can turn you around. And Florida, God love them, kind of like the Leafs, don't play the most structured hockey.
No.
And that leads to stick infractions.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you got to do?
Hunker down. Play a style of hockey that you haven't played all year. Basically. Well, and here's the other thing that Florida's been able to get away with is giving up leads and just going, I think, let's just have fun now. And then they're able to come back in basically every scenario. It's amazing that it worked against the Caps because like it's not supposed to work that way in the playoffs.
Right.
You're not supposed to be able to do that. Well, then the Oilers erase a 4-goal deficit.
How many of Tampa's goals? They had 4. How many came on the power play? Because there was 14 minutes in penalties for them to score on. 2. Jesse?
Yeah, 2 of the 4.
3.
Oh.
Whoa.
Perry, Kucherov, Colton. And Colton was the dagger, right?
That
Kucherov actually could have been the dagger because, at that point they were only up 2-1.
I think Kucherov's the dagger in some ways because if you're on the Florida bench, you watch your captain, Aaron Ekblad, have that done to him. I mean, what's the reaction in the, oh, shit. That was scorching. That's Kucherov at like, I can only assume like 60, 70%.
He's not himself, but he plays.
No, he's hurt.
Occasionally he just does stuff and you're like, I'm going to ignore. You see him, I'm like, I'm going to, he ignores pains for about 5 seconds and he walks around someone.
I assume for half the Tampa roster, every moment that isn't game time is utter agony.
What do you think's wrong with him? Where do you think he's hurt?
Bonitis. Like he's... Dude, he's had...
That sounds like a bad X-rated movie.
No, that is a 24-year-old Futurama reference.
Yeah.
Is it not?
Is it? Bonitis?
Bonitis? I don't know what it's from. I just...
Bonitis.
That's a long time ago Futurama reference.
I've only seen it like on hockey Twitter as a meme for like when a player is often injured. They'll be like, oh yeah, he's got that bonitis. And I mean, Kucherov is... Tampa handled him in a very intentional way that we mocked, and we were right to mock it for the way that they handled it. However, I think we've forgotten in all of that, oh my God, that's a gruesome clip. What is happening to that man? I guess
the
that's
guy on
bonitis.
Futurama who had bonitis.
Oh my God. Anyway, where was I going with that? I think we're all forgetting that he was legitimately injured.
Mm-hmm.
And then after being legitimately injured, missing all season and coming back, he got legitimately injured again. And now he's legitimately injured again. Like Kucherov might be one of those guys who's like a hockey Hall of Famer by 30-31 and just hangs him up. Like, listen, I gave you all I had. I won 4 cups. I'm out. I'm done. I got an Art Ross. I got an MVP. I got 4 cups, so you might have a Conn Smythe by the time
40,
it's all
50
said
million
and done.
bucks at the bank.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm done.
Has Florida scored a power play goal yet these playoffs? Because they
That's
did
a
not
good
score
question.
a power
No.
play goal versus Washington.
No,
do they have any?
No.
They're
That's-
all for like 20 plus.
That's extra
Both
bad.
sides of the special teams just awful. Can't score power play. Can't stop the penalty kill. Like
This is the
they're not going to win this way.
the annual. This doesn't look as good when it comes to NHL awards. Andrew Burnett being nominated for the Jack Adams today.
Mm.
I mean,
I
I
think
know
he
it's
deserves
usually
it.
up.
It's a
Yeah,
regular season award.
It's a
And
regular
he took
season
over
award
after Joel Quenneville was. They had to fire
very
him.
difficult circumstances.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like I'm not saying he's a shitty coach.
Who are the other two? They released them today.
Gerard Gallant and Darryl Sutter.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
the 3 teams who surprised the most this year. Oh shit, you're good.
Yeah, which is that award.
Yeah.
Well, Florida less so, but
They
Andrew
made the
Burnett,
playoffs.
Special circumstance.
Calgary, you could say, well, I mean, they should have been good. They just weren't.
I didn't know they were this good.
No,
Right. But I know it's usually up to the assistant coaches, the special teams. Ultimately, everything comes back to the head coach, and Andrew Burnett and the Florida Panthers have to figure it out because they're getting killed
Yeah.
on special teams. Getting killed.
before we get into a bit of an extra long press conference, we should talk about the Coyotes' agreement with the ASU. Katie Strang and Sean Shapiro, both friends of the show, have just done some unbelievable work on this situation. And obviously, CJ mentioned it yesterday in the show, and he's like, unless like it's a crazy environment to play in, which it can't be if they're going to charge $400 a ticket. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how this goes. Now, according to the agreement between the Coyotes and ASU, they have what's called a good behavior clause. Now, a lot of people were like, well, that's because they're dumb idiots. And that might be true. But I have to tell you that most media contracts contain the same thing. You have that in your deal. I have that in my deal.
It's standard, yeah.
It's pretty standard, right?
With ASU.
When you have a public-facing brand like ASU does, and the Coyotes do, and Morello does, who's the owner, usually if you're and this is what it says, if you become the subject of adverse publicity, contempt, scandal, or ridicule for violating, quote, widely held principles of public morality, failing to conduct business affairs in a high degree of integrity and honesty, and or failing to act as a good corporate citizen, Arizona State can back out of its deal with the Coyotes. The problem with a contract like that, or a contract clause like that, is that it's hard to enforce, because what's morality?
It's it's one of those ones.
Like when Jerry Jones and his son were caught with a bunch of strippers on camera, did any of the sponsors say, you know what I mean? Like nobody said anything. But it was sort of like everybody's like, this is really greasy and whatever. But the story just went away, right?
It's kind of the everyone's upset clause.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's only enforced if everyone's upset.
That's a good point. So a lot of people made a big deal of that. And I guess I understand why. But the reality is, like Morello, they didn't pay their bills or whatever. But that would be standard. I would think that any clause ever has that.
Yeah, it's got nothing to do with the Coyotes being behind on payments and stuff like that. Although it's in listen. All the elephant in the room, I know Coyotes fans are sick of this. They're such an easy target right now. And a lot of people are going for the easy target for the wrong reasons. And I'm here to tell you there are plenty of right reasons to go after the Arizona Coyotes.
So here's where
you don't need to move the goalposts.
I wanted to hit that one first because I thought that's actually, of all the stuff in this deal that between Arizona State and the Coyotes, I was like, oh, that's the one I would expect to be there.
It makes the most sense.
Arizona, like all NHL franchises, is obviously counting on sports gambling to as a revenue source in the future. Morello owns a casino in Vegas, which I did not know. And the Coyotes, Morello is the owner, and the Coyotes already own one of the state's licenses to run wagering operations. However, the Coyotes will not be able to run those operations inside ASU's arena, agreeing that any use of the facility or any part of ASU campus is prohibited for gambling. You can see why there's students and stuff.
Oh, that's been rumored to be part of his business plan for over a year now.
Certainly that is part of his business plan out of the next arena.
Yeah. Now we can't do it here.
But he would have been able
to... that's years down the road.
Well, and we'll get to that.
Oh,
because that's the thing. How many years down the road? That to me is the most interesting part of this contract. The Coyotes may request an event wagering facility within the zone if regulations change during the 2022 Arizona legislative session, which runs through June 24th, according to the agreement. So that could change. According to the agreement, though, and this is where, speaking about how long will it be until wagering can be a part of this? The Coyotes and ASU are going to meet January 1st, 2025, also known as year 5 of Erik Karlsson's contract. Just want to, we judge our years in Erik Karlsson contract years.
We do?
Is in the Southwest, we do. It's the longest contract in human history.
All right.
January 1st, 2025, to discuss terms and conditions of extending the lease for 1 year, potentially moving the expiration from June 30th, 2025 to June 30th, 2026. It is May, almost June 2022. So we could see the Coyotes at ASU, not for the 3 planned years, but we told you there would be construction overruns. Could be 4 years of this.
This arena better be the best fucking thing the NHL has ever done.
Their new one. Not ASU.
One.
The one that'll come
Tempe.
after
Tempe.
ASU, which they haven't confirmed that they are going to start building yet. City Council is still up in the air about whether or not they're going to build this building.
And even if
Field of Dreams ass arena, like holy shit.
If they do approve that, then you got to get permits. Then you got to line up financing. Then you got to line up contracting. then you got to find the stuff to build it with, which, by the way, the pandemic has not really made it easy. If anybody is listening to this and is undergoing renovations, you'll know what I'm talking about. You can't even get roof shingles. So the Coyotes will be limited in securing some partnerships as well. So this is frustrating because, if you're in sales for the Coyotes, your job is to go out there and grab sponsors for the Coyotes. That's not an easy gig. Imagine this, where you're like, well, actually, you won't be able to do all that. Oakview Group, which is the group that put together, I think, Vegas's arena and Seattle's arena, and is currently doing one in Hamilton.
It's the Lewickis, right?
Yeah, the Lewicki brothers, has signed a group of exclusive venue sponsors, which the Coyotes will be required to work with or refrain in selling in that space. So, for instance, okay, if we were going to use, I'm going to use a non-sponsor on this show to make it easy. Let's say that SDPN had a big partnership opportunity with Tim Horton.
There you go.
Tim Hortons.
Why don't you just use not a real brand?
Not a real brand. Jim Norton.
Stan McKenna Donuts.
Stan
There you
Mikita
go.
Donuts. There you go. I like that. Stan Mikita Donuts. They do donuts and they do coffee, and that's what they're known for, right? So the Coyotes want to bring Stan Mikita Donuts in. But unfortunately, because the Oakview Group already has a deal with, I don't know, McDonald's. You have to work with McDonald's at McDonald's set price, and you can't negotiate it because they know you have to work with them. It's like when you go to a wedding venue and you go, gosh, this wedding venue is really nice. I can't wait to bring my caterer in. And they say, actually, you can't use your caterer. You have to use one of the 3 on this list, which is what a lot of wedding venues do.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
What a racket.
It's a racket. So the Coyotes will be either required to work with the Oakview Group exclusive venue sponsors, or they cannot work within that space. So you imagine if you can't get a deal done because you can't bring Stan Mikita Donuts in, you bring in, I'm going to say McDonald's.
Lanny McDonald's,
Or no,
to be clear.
Lanny McDonald's, okay? You bring in Lanny McDonald's, can't do that. Okay, so we're just going to stay out of the fast food and coffee space.
Oh my God.
That's-
How are they going to make it?
That category is like you could eliminate entire categories. Additionally, according to the agreement, there are these clauses. Any alcohol or beer ads must be approved by Arizona State. Arizona State maintains the right to object to any ad that is not in good taste or otherwise in compliance. Obviously, it's a school.
Yep.
Arizona State will receive revenue from the naming rights of the arena. So the money that you make from naming the arena, Arizona's taken some of that, and you're paying them to use their arena, and they're going to take the naming rights money.
Oh my God.
This is how over the barrel the Coyotes have themselves.
Wow.
The Coyotes will not be permitted to sell any temporary advertising that is a competitor or in the same category as ASU sells the naming rights to, which is what we mentioned with the Oakview clause. In-ice advertising will be a revenue source for Arizona State, and the Coyotes aren't allowed to modify the look of the ice surface, including, and this is a big one for people, but if you're a Leafs fan from long ago, you'll remember this, the Arizona State logo at center ice.
It's like the Hamilton Ticats.
On broadcast to protect ASU's permanent advertisers in the building, it is noted that it doesn't and shouldn't impact opposing broadcast filmed at ASU. So, like, we used to have the Hamilton Tiger Cats logo at the center ice for the Maple Leafs in the 70s because our owner was a dick and owned the Hamilton Tiger Cats and wanted to advertise them. And I believe had Tigers at the game.
And that was 55 years ago.
Yes. So the Coyotes, if you're a Coyote player, you will not skate with a Coyote logo.
Oh, God.
On the ice. Now, you might say, well, who cares? It's just ice. I agree with you. But what the Coyotes have set themselves up for is a perennial losing money team that can only sign guys that are either trying to make it in or trying to stay in.
You know they're making the playoffs, right?
Oh, they have to. They have to.
You know
There's going to be some goalie comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Karel Vejmelka.
Yeah.
They're gonna. This is how this league works. They're making the playoffs, guys.
And they
But
won't be able to put NHL 23 playoffs on the ice because they do not own the ice rights.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
You know?
Here's what you
like
put.
that little shit won't be there.
Here's what you put at center ice in the video game: the NHL logo, and John Scott has his revenge. There it is, because he didn't get to wear an NHL team's logo at the All-Star game. Remember, they put the NHL logo. John Scott gets his revenge. I think it's a beautiful thing. Just put his face.
I just want to say this. So even if the Coyotes make the playoffs, here's what they're guaranteeing for the next 3 to 4 years, depending upon how long this lease goes. They will
Top line
not
center Travis Boyd.
No, they will not ever come close to not profitability, not even a little bit of money lost. They will not come close to losing the same amount of money that they lost this year. Meaning, and what I mean by that is they will lose far more money this way than they did if they had just paid their bills at Gila.
Yeah.
Like we're talking about, they were already going to lose money. But if you let's say zero is this, like zero is at my eyebrows, and where you came in was at my nose, they are guaranteeing that the highest they can get is my chin.
Nipple? Yeah.
Maybe even nipple. That's ridiculous.
Holy cow.
It's crazy how no one's thinking about, oh, how did we get to this point? Because all of this was avoidable if you just run your franchise like a normal franchise and you just try and stay in business and you pay all your bills and you be a good tenant in your building. And they failed in every single aspect. And now we got to scramble with this ridiculous Arizona State arena. And all of this could have been avoided. You have an arena that you currently play in. If you had just any foresight, you'd think about, okay, what are we looking at for the next 10 years? We want to build this new arena in Tempe. Let's go be a good tenant where we are currently so we can get the financing for that new arena and then move there if we think that's going to be the end goal of the franchise. And they didn't do any of that stuff. It's an embarrassment.
Man, this is... I've gone from, what Jesse's saying, this is an embarrassment and this is garbage and this is sub NHL and all that, to now I'm just not even morbidly curious. I'm legitimately, I cannot wait for game one. I'm watching live. I don't care what I have to do the next day. I don't care what's going on that night. I'm watching.
Of course.
Because don't you want to see the spectacle?
Well, I have a different opinion on it.
What's that?
This might be the thing that helps us avoid our next lockout.
Really?
Because I think it's the one issue that the players and the owners are going to come together on.
This sucks.
If you're the NHL executive, you did not plan for when you built the CBA, you did not plan for a team not at least having the chance at selling 15 to 18,000 tickets a night. Not that the Coyotes ever would, because they have to put a good product on the ice and be close to their fans. But now they don't even have a chance to do that. Now it's 3,200 max. Okay? If you're the players...
4,700. How dare you?
No, it's 3,200 after the renovations.
Oh, my...
Because remember the TV and the dressing rooms and all that other shit.
Which they all have to leave once they leave the stadium.
Once they leave, it's all...
All of that's ASU property.
Underratedly, what broom closet are they going to shove the officials in?
Oh, I don't
Coyotes are going to get 10 penalties a game. Sorry.
Then, on the players' side, when you agreed to this CBA, you agreed in good faith that all of the teams in the NHL were at least trying to make money. When you agreed to a 50-50 rev split, you agreed that, most of the teams were trying to be revenue positive here.
This is what Alan talked about on Agent Provocateur.
Right. But then they didn't put a provision in the CBA for what happens if a team just isn't.
Just doesn't try to make money.
They didn't think about that. Because why would you take $1 billion or $500 million asset and go, how do I make this less good?
Right. How
Because
do I intentionally...
You want to balloon the value. It's a great tax write-off. There's a bunch of reasons why you would want to own a franchise at that monetary level if you're a billionaire.
Right.
And I don't know what the PA is going to do, but I don't know what the owners are going to do either. And this may prompt a discussion where you have to exclude the Coyotes from any revenue share conversation on either side. If I'm the player rep, Don Fear, who honestly, it looks like Don Fear is on his way out. Alan's actually one of the people that keeps getting brought up as the guy that's going to take over. Ooh. Although Alan said on the show, he's like, I'm a player guy. I'm an agent.
Will he keep doing the show?
What if he was the NHLPA head?
Yeah,
I don't think so. I don't know.
That's bullshit.
That's
bullshit.
I mean, I think he might be busy at that point, don't you? I mean, maybe.
Well, now I hope he loses.
Now we got what is it? PA Provocateur with Alan Walsh.
Yeah, no, that's bullshit.
Maybe. The thing is, I think that both sides can come together here because they're both getting screwed. If you're executive committee, like the Leafs are not on the executive committee, which blows my mind. The Rangers, the other most valuable franchise in the NHL, not on the executive committee, blows my mind. Both of those teams are bankrolling the NHL, along with Chicago and Boston and a few other franchises. I would be super pissed if I was them and I had to share revenue with these fucking guys.
Yeah.
And at that point, I mean, listen, if the one thing you can get the owners on is somebody's taking our money, we're going to have a problem with that.
They should just go to the Coyotes and be like, you're not allowed to draft. You just,
Well, no, they should want them to draft, so at least they can put a good franchise on the ice.
Fuck you. Dude, redisperse your assets. This is how you can start to pay us back. We get all your picks. Go out and find your own players. You suck.
Dude, I don't know.
Dude.
I think there's going to be, I honestly do believe there's going to be discussions this summer between the league and the PA, and they're going to have to find some workaround because the Coyotes are such a special case, you can't go forward with the agreement. It's not in the spirit of the agreement.
I don't know how Bettman is happy with this.
He can't be.
You know?
He's got to be.
How is he not pissed?
I would love to know what he says behind the scenes. Like,
because-
publicly, who gives a shit?
Next year,
Pull
when puck drop, game 1, and this is the highest rated opening night game, that's embarrassing for the NHL. And how does he not look at that and just be fucking pissed off? Well,
and you think about this. So he just signed his 5-year extension, right? When I read you guys this summer, I know you don't have time right now. Read the Ken Dryden book on Steve Monador. Because it's about Steve, it's about his life, but it's about NHL power dynamics, and it goes into why Gary Bettman is as powerful as he is, and how he gained that power. And if you look at his record, if you're somebody who's like a king or an emperor, a dominating figure, Gary Bettman's got a pretty good corporate emperorship going on, right? Now, I don't love that. I don't think that's good, but as far as grabbing power and hanging on to it, Gary Bettman's done a very good job. The one thing, and at his age, here's what you're thinking about. You're thinking about legacy. His coup d'etat, his pièce de résistance is that fucking salary cap. But the thing that makes him look horrible is what Jesse just pointed out. He's going to be remembered for whatever the hell the Coyotes have been for the last decade and a half.
I mean, he's held on to power in the NHL the way that Scar held on to power in Pride Rock. Like, yes, he's in charge, but no one thinks that you're doing a good job. Maybe the Hyenas. This is brutal.
Even
dude.
the Hyenas were like, "There's no food in the Pride Land, Scott."
Yeah, there's no food and no water. I haven't watched the movie in a long time. Great film. Did you know that my cousin tap dances? No, this is. I'm fascinated by how this is going to go. I'm fascinated by how everyone's going to react to it once they realize. I don't think people have properly processed that this is happening.
It's happening, yeah.
Yeah, but like it's happening in articles.
But we need to see it in
it's-
visual.
Right.
Oh, the second I think it's going to hit a lot of people like a Mack truck when September rolls around. And even then, the first preseason game, who's really paying attention to like preseason games outside
the Leafs have played preseason at like Rico.
it
happens.
like it's not going to stand
Rico
out.
is 4 times the size of what ASU will be.
Wait till the first time the Kings or the Bruins or
How about Austin Matthews comes home?
Oh,
and it's on ESPN.
Yeah.
And they got a broadcast from there.
What? Like, where is the Stephen A. Smith rant on this? Where is that? Because, like, I know they're broadcast partners now, but that doesn't stop him from hammering the NBA
All the time.
on certain issues or hammering the NFL.
If this was the NBA, it would never get to this point. They wouldn't. The sport and the people around it wouldn't allow this. They would move the franchise.
Yeah, Adam Silver would be like, move it somewhere else.
No.
I don't know.
So someone's gotta, if this can be, I mean, because remember at the beginning of the agreement, we saw Stephen A., very low hanging fruit, and you could tell it was forced the way he was talking about the NHL. I can't wait for the first time he sees a highlight pack and he goes, "They're playing fucking where?"
I'll tell you who I want it to say it and when it's going to happen.
Let's hear it.
I want the TNT panel to cover Arizona-Toronto game. I want Wayne Gretzky. I want Wayne Gretzky to look at that.
Former owner,
coach. Former head coach, former member of that organization to say, "Hey, this is not right.
This is a
These
travesty."
players shouldn't be playing there." And he'll say it.
he actually has been quite opinionated.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, he picked the Flames to beat the Oilers.
He had a perfect bracket. He picked this bracket live, and it was perfect at the end of round one. So it's still a perfect bracket. He's been really good on the broadcast panel.
I honestly thought he was going to suck.
Oh, yeah.
He's never been great in interviews.
He's had those moments that you need out of television now where you just go viral on the internet and you share an opinion and people share it because you're passionate about it and you're correct in your opinion. And I think that if they do a game, if TNT panel does a game in Arizona, he'll speak up.
Oh, yeah.
And he'll say the honest thing, which is this isn't right for an NHL team to be doing this for their franchise. They should be playing somewhere else.
And there's going to be like I've seen this sort of thing happen at certain venues, and it's going to be an issue. Media are going to complain about this big time because there's going to be some sort of situation where they're going for parking or they're going to find food and they flash their pass, and whoever's working is going to be like, "What the fuck is that? I don't care."
Steve, do media people like to be pampered and have free things?
They sure do.
Oh, no.
They sure do, and they ain't going to get it at ASU, and it's going to piss them off, and their work is going to reflect it.
You know what we should do?
What?
If the Hockey News ever sends Mikey Stevens down, we need a step-by-step report on what it's like as a media member.
Hey guys,
at a
it's like
college
TikTok.
arena.
Hey guys, follow me along as my reporter journey to the ASU Coyotes game.
Yeah, first I went to ASU, then I tried to find parking, then I made a TikTok about Florence Pugh, and then I...
Is the popcorn going to be stale? I assume yes.
They might actually have updated food at least.
Listen, universities like know how to make popcorn, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. We got a bunch of kids and microwaves.
It's slander. That's slander. Just no.
Yeah.
Microwave. You're not allowed.
No,
Not allowed.
no microwaves.
No, it's a university. You're not
That's
allowed.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
Banned on campus.
Dude, I can't wait. The game one is gonna hit people like a Mack truck.
I got a
And
question.
Be prepared for them to be in a playoff spot by Christmas, because
And it'll be a quote unquote great story. No, I have a question.
They're gonna have a unique. Well, sorry, one second. They're gonna have a unique advantage because teams are gonna come to town and be like, "What the fuck is this?" And they'll be totally used to it and win. They're gonna win games based on that.
Yeah,
I'm
away
telling
teams
you.
are going to be so flummoxed by the whole situation.
Especially the Eastern ones who
Yeah.
like never play there.
Yeah.
They're going to do their one and done, and they're going to be like, "What? Like you're expecting
you want an
players-
hotel? Welcome to our dorm.
Yeah, like you're expecting the Carolina Hurricanes and like New York Rangers and Tampa Bay Lightning to be fully engaged for that game? Hell no, and they're not going to realize that the Coyotes are kind of running away with this until it's Christmas, and they're like, "Oh shit, they're in third."
My question is this: does the NHL allow this to make it into the video game?
It has to.
Does it?
What's the phrase?
I guess
Say
they
it
could
with-
just put the logo at center ice.
Say it with me. If it's in the game, it's in the game.
No. I'm wondering if
It's got to be
they
in the
don't
game.
just fake it and put like a normal stadium size in with the Coyotes, like
no,
Why
it's
not?
got to be a part of the experience. If you're doing this, you're doing it.
But I don't
They
know.
might not have the rights.
Like, can they? Are they? Like, how is this actually? Is it actually going to look like ASU in the game?
It better.
Because here's the thing. Then it looks even worse. Because the stadiums look smaller in the game, and ASU is going to look like you went to your local rink.
When I start my new franchise mode in September, when the game comes out, I'm doing Arizona.
You should.
100%.
Oh, you and everyone else.
I'm going to make you sign a good behavior clause.
Well, how about that? Okay, Jesse, as a general manager,
Yes.
Yes.
you have to like set the hot dog prices and shit, right?
I do. Yeah. And
Yeah.
parking and all that stuff.
How on earth do you, as the general manager of the Arizona Coyotes, intend to make money?
Well, I'm going to set them really high.
No one's gonna go.
And I'm gonna put on a winning team on the ice.
No, you're not.
Yep.
Hey.
The winning team generates income.
The first player you have to get is Austin Matthews. You know this.
I'm excited for NHL 23.
There it is. There it is. There's your hook.
Before we go to the press conference, which will be a bit extended today, I would like to read you a full Sutter quote on his Jack Adams nomination, because I think it is very him. You're going to hear him in me reading this.
Okay.
It's not for the best coach, first of all. It's the coaches voted for the best coach every year. Sorry, if the coaches voted for the best coach every year, you'd see quite a bit of a different list in the past 15 years, which I think he's right.
Mm-hmm.
The way I look at it, I don't need that on my resume. Some guys do, so I'd rather some young guys win it, or maybe a guy that got a raw deal somewhere. A guy like Gerard Gallant. He got a raw deal in Florida. He got a raw deal in Vegas. If I had a vote, I know who I'd vote for.
I love it.
And I'd
Very
love
nice.
a coach's pick for the best coach of the year, wouldn't you? Wouldn't that make that more compelling?
I mean, who gets to vote for what awards is so arbitrary. The GMs vote on the Vezina?
Yeah,
What?
why?
Who votes on coaches?
Oh,
Who votes
yeah.
on Jack
I have
Adams?
no
That's
idea.
a good idea. Jack Adams Award.
I'm going to guess media.
Who votes?
I'm going to guess media.
Broadcasters Association.
There it is.
See,
NHL.
it's different.
Yeah. Because it's not the PH...
It's not the writers.
PA.
It's the
PHPA.
broadcasters.
PH...
Pro
Professional
Hockey.
PHW...
Pro Hockey Writers Association, PHWA. The PWHPA and the
PHWA.
HWA, it messes me
A
up
lot of
every time.
acronyms, but we can get through it.
I really have to override
Members
my
of the
brain.
NHL Broadcasters Association vote on the Jack Adams Award. I don't know what that is.
It's a bunch of guys voting on the most predictable award there is.
It's I think it's the announcers, you know?
Like play-by-play?
Yeah.
Is
Play by
it
play and color
play-by-play?
guys. Yeah.
Oh,
So like Chris Cuthbert.
Yeah.
who I love, by the way.
Interesting.
I love Chris Cuthbert.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, who would you have vote for it? Players can't do it. They're going to vote for their guy. Or are they? Maybe they won't.
Right.
It's definitely, I mean, you can hear it in his answer. Darryl Sutter can't be the only guy to think that.
Mm-hmm.
Gerard winning this thing. This is going to be like a conspiracy.
Jargalant needs to.
Yeah, because he got, I mean, he
Gets
did
screwed.
kind of get screwed.
Mhm.
Twice.
Kinda. Totally. Okay. All right.
All right.
The who votes on thing, like I can't get past that. Because now that we're talking about it, oh yeah, all the awards are voted on by just different groups. And it seems like the NHL is like, okay, here's one, you get this one,
Yeah.
and you get that one. And it's not really, doesn't really mean anything. Like, why does this group vote on that? I don't know.
And the Vezina, I keep going back to the Vezina because it's voted on by 32 people. That's it. And they don't have time for this shit. Do you think these GMs are putting a lot of thought into their Vezina vote?
No.
Or are they just going, who has the most wins? Doot, doot, deet.
Who's the best goalie against my team this year?
These three. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, Dubas definitely voted for Georgiev a couple years ago. Like, 100%. 100%. And this year he's voting Craig Anderson.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right, let's do the press conference.
No, all right.
If you're looking for quality and performance, you got to check out Rowback Activewear. It's some of the best stuff that we own too. Performance polos, Q-zips, hoodies, like a whole new meaning to the word comfortable. So comfortable, so beautiful, but also a total game changer when it comes to like soft, stretchy material. Hockey players love it. Hockey commentators who don't play a lot of hockey like us, we love it too.
I was about to say, I like stretchy.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, hockey players, I think they stretch in a different spot than we stretch. I think they stretch more up here and we might be more
I
down
need
here.
more research on
But that's, yeah. There's also Performance Q-Zips, incredibly comfortable, perfect for a day on the ice or a day on the links.
Oh.
Or a day in your podcast chair.
Yeah.
I wore a Rowback shirt on Sunday when I was at a golf dome.
There he is.
Practicing my swing.
Oh, typical Laughs fan golfing, eh?
So do yourself a favor and use the code DANGLE at rowback.com for a generous 20% off your first order. That's RHOBACK.com. That's 20% off first order, all polos, Q-zips, hoodies, and tees with the code DANGLE. It's just in time for the second round of the playoffs. Go check out rowback.com. Hey, listen, when you're hiring for your company, you need to cast the widest net possible, but then you got to narrow it down quickly. You want to bring a whole bunch of people in, and then you want to find out who is qualified. Workable is what you have to check out. There are 46% more jobs being posted than before the pandemic right now, and 44% fewer candidates. So we need to get you the right candidates, and we need to get you fast, and Workable does that. Workable will automate repetitive tasks like scheduling interviews, so you don't have to worry about that. You can focus on what's important, and they do things like video interviews and e-signatures for you. Done. So listen, start hiring today with a risk-free 15-day trial. If you hire during the trial, which many do, won't cost a thing. Just go to workable.com to start hiring. That's Workable, which is hiring made easy. Guys,
Yes.
have you solved the biggest question plaguing your lives right now?
What? I don't know.
How much butt fun you're having?
Oh, we're not doing butt fun.
Why not? Why can't we do
Because
butt
people were
fun?
very upset about butt fun.
I've had too much butt fun.
I'm not surprised. You seem like a butt fun kind of guy. And if you try SeatGeek, you too can have some butt fun. Put your butt in the right seat to have a good time. Download the SeatGeek app. That is. Listen, there could be anything. Your second round of the playoffs. I don't know what that's like. But if you do, SeatGeek's the app for you.
I'm just saying, it's not butt geek.
No, it's SeatGeek, where your butt sits. And
In a seat.
you get $20 off your first purchase with the promo code STP at SeatGeek.com or in the SeatGeek app. That, again, is STP, $20 off SeatGeek. Or download the app, go to SeatGeek.com. Do it!
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
Oh, wow. Do I know the answer to this question already?
Uh-oh.
Adam Wild, are you ready to do the Emu War history corner?
You are.
Yeah, I am.
Are you?
Today?
All right.
Yeah. Do you want to hear?
Go ahead.
Okay, so the Emu War is something that happened in Australia because it could only happen in Australia where the emus live. Now, have you seen an emu before? Do you know what an emu looks like?
Yes.
Jesse, can you bring up an emu on the screen? I think it's important that people know.
The best way I can describe it is an ostrich, but not.
A big-ass bird that if it stared you down, it's going to look through your soul. Okay?
You ever seen the woman on TikTok who raises emus?
No.
And she controls them by just going,
Oh, and one of them doesn't like her.
really
It's
doesn't
like Karen.
like her.
What's her name? It's like
Karen.
Is it Karen the emu?
Karen the emu. And she literally just and puts out her hand and controls this giant bird with the force. It's amazing.
They always reminded me of cassowaries, and those are actually super dangerous birds. They're like man-sized birds that actually will kill you.
They're dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Cassowaries are dinosaurs.
But yeah, emus are interesting birds because, at least in traditional Australia, emus have a gigantic migration period. Okay, and this is really important as a part of the Emu War. And the reason that they have this is because they're leaving after they go from one spot where they get all amorous and they have families, and then they move their families because the climate changes in Australia, obviously, as the seasons change. And they go to another place where they're eating food, somewhere else where they can eat food and raise their family the rest of the year.
Cafeterias.
That's right. One cafeteria runs out of food, so you got to go to the other side of the campus for the other one.
Stan Makita Donuts.
100%. So the Great Emu War was actually mostly a press moniker for it because it was so ridiculous. After World War I, Australian soldiers kind of came back, and like what happened in a lot of countries, this happened again after World War II. It happened in Canada, happened in the United States, happened in Britain, happened in France, and happened in Australia, New Zealand, a whole bunch of them. A bunch of young men come back from war, and first off, women have entered the workforce.
Mm-hmm.
And second, industrial production is way down because you're not creating ammunition and war supplies anymore. So a lot of countries go through like a post-war sort of depression. So what do you do with a bunch of disaffected young men who are pissed off with authority because they feel like their buddies were thrown into the fire for no reason, which is how a lot of people came back from World War I.
Mm-hmm.
They also came back with socialistic tendencies, which scared the shit out of, and I'm not talking socialism like we know it. I'm talking socialism like we're going communist,
Right.
which happened in Germany. There was a communist revolution that didn't quite take. There happened in Russia. It happened in a few other places too, where there was gigantic, after World War I, it was huge for the communist movement. So what do you do with all these young men who have a lot of energy, who have, frankly, PTSD?
Yep. Shell shock, they were calling it at the time.
Shell shock, and who are militarily trained. Because that's the thing too, right? They all come back and they all want to topple their governments. Now, this wasn't a huge problem in Australia, and they all can use a gun. That's a pretty scary prospect. And they saw what happened in Germany, so they said, okay, here's what we're going to do. And this is tale as old as time. The Romans did this. The Brits did this in Ireland. And the Australians said, we're going to make you into farmers. We're going to give you land. Great idea.
It'd be worth a lot today.
It would be. It might be.
There's a lot of land in Australia.
There is a lot of land in Australia. You know where else there's a lot of land?
Where?
Canada.
Yeah.
What's the problem with most of the land in Canada?
You can't use it.
65% of the entire population lives between like a little area.
It's like within 100 kilometers of the border with the United States.
Yeah.
And it might even be higher than that, Jesse. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And the same issue in Australia, like Canada, it's too fucking cold and there's nothing to grow. In Australia, it's too fucking hot and there's nothing to grow. So a lot of these soldiers go and they start farming, and they're hardworking guys, tough tough people, and they go into the outback where everything wants to eat you. And so they try to go and farm things like wheat. So what happens is, towards the end of the 20s, these are agriculturally marginal areas, right? So these are areas where it's already tough to grow. The farmers are encouraged to increase their wheat crops. And what happened, and one of the causes of the Great Depression, is the fact that, and this is crazy, I know this all works in the Emu War, promise you, wheat prices fall worldwide. It becomes a huge problem in the United States. It becomes a huge problem in Canada. And because we only focus on North American history here, we don't realize that, it affected things in Australia too.
David Dempster was having a bad time.
He was having a bad
week.
time.
Yeah.
Wasn't sponsoring John Tavares that year, I tell you what.
Like the bread?
Mr. Dempster.
Wheat.
So what
Is that his real name?
So what the Australian government does, and a lot of governments tried this, was, the wheat prices are falling worldwide. Even though people are starving, wheat prices have fallen off a cliff. What we're going to do is we're going to introduce subsidies. So we're going to ask you to produce the same amount or more of the wheat that you've been producing, but the government is going to subsidize you. In a lot of cases, like in Canada, sometimes they just burned it. They would have you produce it and they would just burn it because they were like, there's no one to sell this to.
Oh, God.
That's how far down as a commodity wheat fell, which is crazy.
What the hell?
I know. It's nuts. And also there were some climate change factors in North America, but we won't get into that. So the difficulties of this are increased by the fact that this land was basically not really arable. And the reasons that the emus would move across it, actual birds would migrate across it. They're a flightless bird and they're huge. But they're like, okay, so we're leaving this one spot because the season's over. It's dry season. We need to go to a place where there's water and there's something to eat. Well, what did the farmers do on the non-arable land that the emus would have skipped over before? They brought in water and they brought in something to eat. So these farmers are going for these subsidies and the emus are coming in and going, this is fucking great. A bunch of water and a bunch of wheat. This is great.
Look at this.
I don't need to walk 70 kilometers in that direction and face attacks from everything in Australia that wants to eat you, which is everything in Australia.
Yeah.
I'm just going to stay
Human-sized
here.
bats.
Yeah. So the emus would consume the crops. It would spoil the crops. And rabbits would then come in and cause further issues with planting and all that sort of thing. So in 1932, and then I love this, Major Commander G.P.W. Meredith of the 7th Heavy Battery
That's
of the
a
Royal
strong
Australian.
name.
Isn't that I would love to have a name where it's like, I have 3 names and they're not even worth mentioning. You just get the first letter.
Meredith. Like that's a 30s ass name.
G.P.W. Meredith.
Damn.
It's a good name.
Major General Meredith. He commands soldiers, because remember, these are all soldiers, and they go out there with 2 Lewis guns, which are like the top loading. You've seen them. They're machine guns from World War I, and they have the. It almost looks like a plate, and you just pop it on top, and that's how the bullets come out.
Yes.
Yeah, they're the big. They go out with 10,000 rounds of ammunition, and the operation was delayed. And the idea here was that you were going to kill off the emus.
This is so not what I thought the Emu War was.
No, this is.
So, what did you think it was?
I don't know. I didn't think the Boer War was about pigs.
No.
And the Emu War is about actual emus?
The Boer War was actually about whether the Transvaal was really a country or not, and there's a gold and
yeah, but it wasn't about boars.
Yeah, no, it was about Boers. Anyway, long story short, Boers are Dutch settlers.
Yeah,
you know
you have the word wrong.
I didn't know that.
Long story short, the idea was they wanted to collect 100.
I didn't know that.
They wanted to kill off the emus because they're destroying the cropland, and they were going to take the emu skins and they were going to use the feathers to make hats for their cavalry.
Did they machine gun the emus?
Well, they spotted 50 emus on the 2nd of November. The birds were all out of range, so the local settlers attempted to herd them into an ambush, but the birds split into small groups. And they run, right? So they're very difficult.
Mm-hmm. They're fast as hell.
The machine guns, because they didn't have the range, couldn't hit them. And they did kill a number of other birds, but not the emus, maybe a dozen. They said, and this is from the Wikipedia article, the next significant event was on 4 November. Major Meredith established an ambush near a local dam where more than 1,000 emus were spotted heading towards their position. This time, gunners waited until the birds were in close proximity before firing. The gun jammed after only 12 birds were killed, and the remainder scattered before they could be shot. No more birds were sighted that day.
Poor bird.
So, so the first time they find 50, they can't. And by the way, this whole operation was delayed by rain. In the days that followed, Meredith chose to move further and further south where the birds were reportedly fairly tame, but only had limited success in his efforts. By the fourth day, Army observers noted that each pack seems to have its own leader now. It's a black-plumed bird. So they're 6 days in. They had spent 2,500 rounds of ammunition. The number of birds killed was uncertain, but they probably killed about 50.
Oh my God.
These are 80-pound birds, by the way.
You guys, it's not working. Stop trying to murder these birds.
So typical of World War I commanders, and this is 10 years after, but World War I commanders, they're like, well, if it didn't work, we should do the exact same thing again. And that's what they did. They withdrew. And emu
Bugs Bunny asked.
Emu attacks on crops continued. Farmers again started asking for support. Hot weather, drought, all those things, so basically they.
It's theirs now. You can't.
I'm
you
confused
can't fight it.
I'm confused. Obviously, about what the Boer War was.
We can explain that at some point.
I'm going to get destroyed for that, and that's okay.
No. There's some fascinating history there. If you want to know about engagement rings,
It's just not about pigs.
Well,
yeah,
let's start with how Boer is spelled.
BOER.
Didn't know that. Number 2, why are they fighting to protect these crops that they were burning?
Well, I don't know if Australia was, but in Canada they would burn.
Right.
Oh,
in the States they burn them too.
They're trying to make wheat.
Yeah, so that the government
are
can do something.
legitimately trying to make
But
and
the
protect
emu
their wheat.
are getting in the way, so they're like, let's go murder a bunch of emu, and they got about 50 of them.
So
This is so not what I expected.
So they try again on the 12th of November, right? They withdrew and they're like, okay, everybody take a breather. And then they come back.
They had to retreat from the emus?
Well, they had an issue and they had to put Meredith back in the field because there was a lack of experienced machine gunners in this particular part of Western Australia.
They're losing a war against birds. Their opponent doesn't know they're in a war.
So taking the field on the 13th of November in 1932, the military found a degree of success over the first 2 days with approximately 40 emus killed. Hey, that's a high kill count.
They still haven't hit triple digits.
By the third day,
It's not nice.
far less successful. By the 2nd of November, we're now a month into this. They were killing about 100 emus per week.
Oh my God.
Basically, they reported that with 10,000 rounds or 10,000 bullets, about 1,000 had been killed. So, one emu per 10 bullets. And that's how they had to, because remember, they had no money, right? So they have to really ration their bullets. Meredith claimed that 2,500 wounded birds had died as a result of the injuries.
There's just a bunch of dead birds everywhere.
In assessing the success of the call, an article in the Coolgard Miner reported that although the use of machine guns had been criticized in many quarters, it proved effective and saved the remainder of the wheat.
They could have just sold emu meat. Apparently. Oh my God.
Farmers again requested this in 34, 43, and 48. Instead, by that time, there was a...
I feel so bad for these poor emu.
So here's the funny thing. They requested military assistance. So what the government does, it goes, why don't we instigate a bounty system? So literally,
birds?
Yeah, there was a bounty system in 1923, and it continued. 57,000 bounties were claimed over a 6-month period in 1934.
I don't want to play this Red Dead DLC.
No.
I don't want to.
Conservationists started to say, hey, like you can't keep doing this.
When do we get to this part where people step in or like stop murdering the birds?
Almost right away. And
When did the Aussies say oi? Jeez.
My favorite sentence of the whole thing is, throughout 1930 and onward, exclusion barrier fencing became the popular means of keeping emus out of agricultural areas.
Well, yeah! Build a fence!
They can't fucking fly! They're a flightless
Oh my
bird!
God!
They don't have arms!
So they
Put up
built
a picket fence! instead of murdering 25,000 birds.
Yeah. So anyway, in 1950, the government also gave farmers about 500,000 rounds of ammunition to keep emus off their land. And I love this legacy. In recent years, references to the Emu War have been a popular internet meme. So it's wild. It's just a wild story to talk about. I know why people were so excited. There were so many details in there. I had to pull up the article.
So according to the Smithsonian National Zoo, emus are even bigger than I said. They're like between 110 and 120 pounds.
Oh my God.
And they're like nearly 6 feet tall. So there's just 2,500 of these things that they machine gun down and just left there.
6 foot tall birds.
Mm-hmm. They're giants. They're giant birds. Emus would not be the shortest player in the National Hockey League if they could skate.
How long did it take you? How long did it take them to get to the idea of putting up a fence?
It looks like it happened just after. And became more and more popular as the 40s and 50s went on. Believe it or not, fences were also really good at keeping other vermin such as dingoes and rabbits out. So
they should put that Meredith guy in jail.
You know what?
It's not his fault. He was taking orders.
It's kind of his fault.
I mean, no, that's not a good argument.
Australia, you're preposterous. This is the second strangest thing about Australia behind them being in Eurovision.
Yeah, that's also weird.
All of it is weird. I'm starting to, you know what? I think I believe in the conspiracy theory that Australia isn't real. That's a movie script.
There was a musical made by John Cleese and I think Rob Schneider in 2019 about it.
That would make a good musical.
There's a
a movie retelling the events. John Cleese, Monty Franklin, and Rob Schneider slated for release this year.
There's a Monty Python movie about a real life event where a bunch of dudes were hired to kill emus and they weren't
couldn't do
This
it.
was the 30s, you said?
30s, yeah.
Oh, dear God.
There's a really, like, if Disney wants to make a gritty installment, like, they could make a movie where, like, the emus take a stand.
And they
fight
win.
back. And they win. Yeah, Planet of the Emus.
Some of these guys would have been at Gallipoli. And a part of the campaign that, claimed Jerusalem from the Ottoman Empire, and here you are in the Australian outback shooting emus, and you can't do it. It's just wild.
This is, oh my God, Jesse found a photo.
Here's a photo from the Emu War of a dude strangling a bird.
Oh, well, the bird's dead, and
it sure looks it.
Yeah.
That is such a big bird.
I'm not going to put it on screen. Just
no.
for anybody.
Now I'm sad.
That's actually in the Wikipedia article.
Oh, yeah? Oh.
Yeah.
You know what I didn't think the Emu War was about? Actual emus! That's one of the silliest damn things I've ever heard. And I'm not entirely convinced you didn't make it up.
Seems like a made-up article, but it's a real thing. Can you put that picture up? Can you put that picture up on screen? It's an emu in front of a machine gun. Can you put that up on screen? You can do that. The emus fought back and continued to flourish.
Tell me that's Photoshop. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Honestly, it's Australia. It might not be Photoshop.
That's so funny.
He's wearing a gun belt. Oh my God.
Man, I have to say,
oh my God. And he's flanked by a bunch of boars. There's a bunch of boars. They've joined the battle with the emus.
Very few cultures have the sense of humor and the self-deprecation of Australians. It's a wild country. Yeah. Anyway, there you go.
I wish this is how it went.
You know what?
Holy shit! They took control of our magazines!
They got the guns! No, I think we found what needs to go at center ice at ASU next year.
Yeah.
And it's this photo of an emu emuing a machine gun. What the fuck?
How is that not on Team Australia's national hockey jersey? That right there.
Oh, yeah. Forget the kangaroo.
Who taught him how to use a machine gun?
I wonder what his
With
name
no
is.
arms. No arms. He's got his big talons.
Oh God, that's funny.
Oh,
That's good shit.
Did you like that story?
I want to read the Adam Wilde history of this war, the Emu War by Adam Wilde. What the peck?
Look at this painting.
Is that
No, it's not.
to put that up on screen? It's like a trench. That is dark shit, man.
Dude, what the
That is
fuck?
like a World War I trench with a bunch of. Are they wearing the German helmets too?
I don't know. I can't tell.
Oh God.
I don't know what German.
Wow.
helmets look like.
Okay.
That's funny.
That is some dark shit right there. Wow. History's great, right?
They need to make
History's
this into
great.
a video game. This needs to be like a version of
should.
Call of Duty.
It should.
Where you're an emu.
Yeah.
And you're trying to defeat the humans. And you can use guns and shit.
I love the part of the story where the war wasn't going well, so they had to retreat for a bit.
They took like 5 days off. The guy.
Against birds who don't know they're fighting.
What I didn't mention is they had to, he had to go to the Senate and defend his actions. Like
Please tell me you're not putting this on screen.
No.
Some of the memes are
There's some like
bad.
rants,
They're pretty
dark.
bad. It's
rants in Photoshop.
dark.
holy shit.
Okay. Now, do we have any other questions?
Yeah, we
I know we have a bunch of questions.
Yes,
We got like
I
8 of
have
them.
one. What the fuck?
This one's from Amy Brown.
How are we continuing the show?
Amy Brown wants me to show Steve something. Can you show Steve my smiley triceratops that is affectionately named after him and is right next to my maple leaf tattoo? Now that's a burning question. Amy Brown got a tattoo of a little triceratops there, and I guess it's named Steve. Isn't that cute?
Or it's named Dangle.
Whichever one.
I love that.
Wow.
Isn't that cute?
That's so
That's a
cool.
very nice triceratops and also leaf. That's very nice.
Amy, that's really cool.
See, Amy, like, I appreciate your willingness to get a tattoo because I'm on the fence, you know?
What would you get a tattoo of?
I want a lion. I want a big lion.
Why?
Don't do that.
Because there's a lot of, what? Okay, so now I don't have the support of my wife, parents, or Jesse.
Maybe
I need to know the reason.
maybe that's a sign. That also explains
I need to
that.
know the reason.
Also,
I need to
I'm
know the
covered in
reason.
moles.
I need to know the reason.
Well, my son is named Leo.
Okay.
My
Oh.
English side of the family, you know, the lions on the flag and all that.
British
and
lion
the
thing.
yeah. And the Italian side of the family were from Monteleone, which is Mount Lion. So I guess I'm not getting that.
I'm not saying one way or the other. I think tattoos are extremely personal. I will judge not.
Yeah, but Jesse will. So
I won't judge. It's just
You just got to get a cool looking one.
yeah,
go to
like I think I'm
You
gonna
can't
get
be- you
I gotta
can't-
get a pizza slice under my lip.
Here's what. That's a direct
Wow.
shot over the bow at Jesse Blake,
wow.
who has one.
I have a tattoo inside.
Is it still there?
Yeah.
Oh, it's still there.
there.
I thought you said it fades over
It
time.
should, but it looks like somebody just took a bite out of it. It's lasting like, I don't know.
That's kind of
Like 7 years.
That's a long time that's been there.
yeah.
Wow.
I didn't know it was still there.
Me neither. I don't
You
look at
show it
very
off all the
often.
time.
The one thing I will say is you can't if you do get this tattoo, you're not allowed to do it your way,
What does that mean?
which is you get like a Groupon and go to the local. Am I Steve? Jesse, am I wrong?
I actually no.
You have to go to a really
I
good
don't
tattoo
know.
place
I
and
know
get
a
it done
very good
artistically.
tattoo artist.
That's
Yeah.
what scares me.
I want to see the lion.
Yeah,
Now that you got like some reasons behind it, I'm like,
Show me the
okay.
sketch. I'm cool with you getting whatever you want.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just want it to be well illustrated.
Also, where's it going to be? What's it going to look like?
I was thinking. Well, so here's the problem. I'm
Tramp
covered in
stamp
all
it,
these,
baby.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm covered in all these. Well, the mane is already back there, so we'll just
Well,
have to get
yeah.
we'll just have to get the rest of the line.
So you just get it lasered off on the face, and then you've got the hair
Yeah.
from the small of your back.
Now we got
I
it.
don't.
Now we got it.
So where are you thinking? What part of your body?
I'm covered in moles, so I was thinking maybe forearm is an option, but I was thinking maybe bicep. I'm not sure. Inside, I'm not totally sure. I have to think about that.
Yeah.
Probably left arm. Probably either on the outside or the inside. I'm not sure.
Okay. I don't know. I need to see it first.
I'll show you the artist I have in mind.
All right. Well, we'll update everybody on Steve's tattoo.
Well, now I'm not getting.
and we'll film it and we'll do a live episode of Steve getting tattooed.
Oh man, we should stream that on Twitch.
Yeah, we'll stream it on
That'd be
Twitch.
sick.
Steve's
Do it for
tattoo.
charity.
What's okay? Listen, I am not getting my own face tattooed on my back. I'm
No.
doing this 'cause
The
I think
lion.
it looks
The
cool.
lion. The lion.
No, it's got to be on your butt now.
Oh, you'd be a
Well,
Gotta be
lion
a
butt.
butt tattoo.
There's more canvas to work with than there used to be.
What?
Been doing my glute
All right,
bridges.
moving on from that. Adam, this question's from you. It's from Aiden. I'm going to switch it up a bit.
Okay.
So the question was from Aiden. They wrote, if Adam Wilde were a bubbly water flavor, what flavor would he be? But
Emu.
scratch that. Take that question out. Adam, I appoint you president of Bubly. You get to make your own flavor. What is it?
Do they have pear, Bubly?
No.
I've always thought pear would be an interesting choice because you get a good pear in the summer, right? Do they have pear, Bubly? I'm just checking.
I don't think so. Because we purchased every kind of bubbly for you for your birthday.
There's apple. See, pears actually have an underrated, really good flavor that's like, it goes well with water because pears are very watery.
I
right?
like a pear.
So why not like a pear bubbly? Because there's apple bubbly, there's peach bubbly,
They
both
already
are very
have
good.
peach. Yeah, peach is
I think pear
one of my
bubbly.
favorites.
I think you go pear. You could even do
That's good.
like a white grape. You know what I mean? Like a white grape bubbly.
Interesting.
A little bit of a, because white grapes.
And you could even put booze in it. And you could sell it in Champagne, France. Sorry.
And you could
And
call
mix it with orange juice.
and you could call it Bordeaux.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I think we found it.
I think we just offended all the sommeliers in our audience. I'm sure there's many. Is there any sommeliers listening? I would really love to know that.
Champagne France is very funny.
Yeah. They got a lot of
Pear is
flavors.
good. I like
I think
that.
pear.
Pear could
I think
work.
I would
All
do
right,
that.
as a bubbly connoisseur, we have to get you in touch with them again and get you your own brand.
Keep asking them to
Of
come on
pear
as,
bubbly.
as an advertiser. Actually, I don't. I haven't really reached
Come
out.
on, you freeloaders, give us money.
All right, this is from at Hockey Thoughts. Did the Canadian division really suck? All the Canadian teams that have made the playoffs in the last 2 years have advanced to the second round, except for one.
Ah.
One of them making it all the way to the Stanley Cup final, and one is guaranteed to go to the Western Conference final this year. What do you guys think? Do we look back at the Canadian division and still say, hey, that division was kind of garbage and all the teams kind of sucked?
Well, here's the thing about this year is it's not last year. So like the Flames are a different team than they were last year. Yeah, most of the important parts are still there. Yeah, no, I think that's kind of a cop-out. We maybe overrated how bad it was. Like, I've seen some of the statistical comparisons, which I found very silly, because they seem to ignore the fact that all the stats of the Canadian teams came against Canadian teams. It's probably better than we thought it was, but at the end of the day, I still don't think it was very good.
The next question comes from Hayden Vargas C. This is a special one for Adam and Steve. Walk through the Dangle Dial and what that is and why it is a part of SDP lore.
I'll give the origin while Adam recovers from the thing he hates more than anything in the world. Adam enjoyed his divorce more than he enjoyed the Dangle Dial.
Oh, God.
Like,
That's true. Okay, go ahead and explain it.
so
I hope Dave Cadeau's listening.
Dave, hello.
Oh, this wasn't his idea.
Oh, was it?
No, it was.
I just love giving Dave shit for that.
This was
Okay.
prior to Dave Cadeau.
Okay, let's continue.
So I get hired at the Fan, and it's in a behind the scenes role, and very slowly people at Sportsnet are like, so like Steve Dangle works here. What if we used him? And then they did.
Mhm.
So
What year is this?
this
Oh,
is
you're-
2014,
no,
but I need to
you
go back
backtrack.
in time.
Yeah, okay.
I need to go back in time to 2011,
disregard.
2012, because I worked at CBC doing highlights, and I was everyone's best friend, because what would happen is I would get off work around 2:30 in the morning. What is important about 2:30 in the morning, Adam and Jesse?
It sucks to be awake.
Everybody's sleeping.
No, you got to go back in time a decade when you were a decade younger.
Oh, and we would party and you'd drive us home.
Everyone would go to the bar, and I'd pick you up from Grace O'Malley's or Croc Rock or whatever.
Or Bar 244, which
Bar
those were the
244.
bars we went to.
Or whatever.
It's still rocking. It's still there.
Still rocking.
244 is still there. Croc is not.
Croc Rock. No, that's
Croc, R.I.P.
They,
R.I.P.
they killed it like the emus.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, our machine gun jammed. We only got 12 of them today.
John Tory won the Croc War. Killed Croc Rock.
Okay, all right.
And he did it with a shovel. He just hit the building
Okay,
until
all
they
right.
said, fine, John, we'll move. So I would pick everyone up. But I wouldn't just drive around Toronto going, anyone need a ride? Like, I would have to get contacted by my friends. So I affectionately called it the Dangle Dial.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of years later, Don Collins, the program director of the Fan 590, has an idea for this thing where I call in to Jeff Blair, and it's the what is it? Straight Man, and what is it? Where Jeff Blair plays the plain guy and I'm wacky guy.
So the straight man and the goof, right?
I'm the goof. I was happy to be the fool that sadly jingles away. So basically, I would call into Jeff Blair's show. I would rant and rave. It would last about a minute, and then Jeff would hang up. And Don's like, yeah, so there's my idea. What could we call it? Do you have any name ideas? I'm trying to think of some name ideas. And I go, we could call it the Dangle Dial. And he goes, that's perfect. And I'm like, cool. So my designated driver service from a couple of years ago that I gave to all my idiot friends is now going to be a feature on the radio. And Adam, what did you think of it?
Well, let me tell you some of the issues from my end, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I can't hide them as anything else. First off, no Don Collins, really great guy. So no disrespect to Don here.
He hired me.
Yeah, of course, he's great.
No, it's not a shot at.
And it's not a shot at Don at all. But you have to understand what we were facing with Steve at that time. And as Steve's best friend, I say we, because we had a podcast together. It was doing pretty well as podcasts go for the time. And we couldn't get anyone to take us seriously. I remember having the head of Rogers Media listen to the show. And I said, you guys got Tim and Sid from podcasting. What about us? Mm-hmm. And they said, okay, I'll have a listen. And they just never talked to me about it again. And I guess they weren't that impressed, and that's fine. But I was like, we have a show here, and this my friend is very talented, I thought. And the problem is that everybody called Steve the yelly, screamy guy from television. I mean, it still follows you a little bit today, but I think people know that you're more than that now. But at the time, that was what it was. Like, I remember one of my friends who worked for MLSE, before we went out to a dinner with Steve and with Jesse and a few other people, I think it was my bachelor party. Mm-hmm. He said, so is Dangle really like that? Like, is he like that all the time? I'm like, well, no, of course, no one's like that all the time. And he's like, he just seems like he's a little crazy. Anyway, he meets you and he loves you. Because most people who meet you do.
Yeah,
because you're a great guy.
I also do a great job because of that yelly, screamy thing. People immediately expect the worst when they meet me, and then they see I'm a regular human being. And they're like, "Oh, well, great. So set the bar low, everyone."
I, at the time, am trying to get us on the radar for the Fan 590. That's really what our goal was at the time. Mm-hmm. That was before a network had ever occurred to us. And I was really like, wouldn't it be great? I could do a top 40 show and a sports show. It'd be amazing. We could do it together, be friends. It's insane. Jesse's come on board. We're starting to do video and whatever. And they're making Steve do this, where he literally is on the phone with Jeff, who is a very, very intelligent man, but as low energy as they come. Analytical, low energy. And not, if you know Jeff Blair, and I don't, but I haven't heard Jeff make a ton of jokes. I didn't listen to Jeff's midday show and go, man, that guy's fucking hilarious. I was like, that guy's really fucking smart. But I didn't go, holy shit, what a knee slapper, Jeff.
He can be very unintentionally funny.
Right, 100%. And I know that there's like a real love for him in the halls there. Like, people love Jeff. And rightfully so. But it was a bad mix.
Well, they didn't bug anyone.
And then they accentuated the part of Steve that I thought was the cheapest part, which was he yells and he screams. And my whole thing was, if you watched him at YouTube at that time, you knew what I knew, which was what he's yelling and screaming about is actually quite intelligent. And it pissed me off that they were rebranding the part of him. He didn't even get to say anything intelligent. It was a minute long.
And it usually wasn't live.
Right. So you'd call in, yell for a minute.
At night.
The next morning they'd run it. And Jeff
would react to it without listening to it.
Yeah. He would act as though you were actually live on the phone and be like, wow, Steve. And then it would just be, oh, okay, we've got to hang up. And it was over. And every time I heard it, I wanted to die. Because I was like, This is not how you use great developing talent.
You know what's nuts? It was sponsored.
Yeah.
Remember Panago sponsored it?
Yes, they did. God bless them.
God bless
them.
them. Bless
Yeah.
Panago.
And you know,
they sponsored when we were on the Fan as well.
and eventually we got on the radar with the Fan. We have Dave Cadeau to thank for that. But it was just one of those where you just like, I was like, this is the worst possible thing that can happen. This guy's really smart and really knows his shit, and they're going, give me the yelly screamy thing. And that's the thing. It's like it would be like if Stephen A. Smith just yelled and screamed. It's empty calories, and I think that's what it was.
I think in the long term, it ended up actually helping me at Sportsnet, though.
Well, because you did it, and they're like, okay, he'll do that, but I know
And you got on air.
Yeah.
No. That's
No?
no. You're looking at it the wrong way. It's again. I was starting so low. Everyone was like, "This fucking sucks," because it fucking sucks. It wasn't the perception was bad. It was bad, and I assume the people who had to record it and package it died 1,000 deaths every time they heard it, and I assume it was terrible listening for everyone listening to it. So that when the next time they heard me was like a trade tree video or one of the streams or whatever it was, they were like, "Oh, this is so much better than I remember."
Yeah. Well, I think at the end of the day, obviously talent went out, but it was just, it was one of the frustrating hurdles along the way. And you got to take those lumps. But I think
it's a funny concept to do once or twice.
it wasn't every week.
I think it was at least once a week. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Well, we tried.
Wasn't good.
Just stuff was tried.
Not everything's gonna work. You know,
100%.
you talk about tap dancing and your cousin, and doesn't always work. And
Yeah.
The Dangle Dial did not work.
Did not work.
Jesse's trying to find it right now, and he's having no luck. And
Good.
no one's happier than me.
They've
great. Have they scrubbed it?
The clips, they don't link to anything
Good. It's a piece of shit.
because this was before like they rebranded to like Sportsnet 590 the Fan.
Yeah, it
so
was
like
just
all
the Fan at that point.
old Fan 590 stuff isn't live anymore.
A friend of mine's dad was very excited to meet me because he was actually a big fan, and I finally meet him, and we have a chance to talk. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I love the trade trees, and I love this video and the podcast." And I go, "What do you think of the Dangle Dial?" "Oh, it's just awful."
It's not. It wasn't you. It wasn't you. I think that's what bugged me.
But he said it like it wasn't like it was, "Oh, it's just awful, Steve." Like someone telling me like it was like an intervention. You need to stop.
Yeah.
This is bad for you.
Yep.
It's bad for the. I'm glad that's scrubbed from the internet. I wouldn't want Leo to listen to that one day.
There's
Like, it's
things we can all be
embarrassing.
embarrassed about. Anyway,
Oh no, Jesse found one.
did you find it?
Oh no. Pause it. Oh no, that's a guest appearance.
Yeah, it's not a Dangle Dial.
it's
It's
not a
just
Dangle
you
Dial.
Look at
doing
here.
a straight.
If somebody
Pause
actually
it for
does
a
find a
sec.
Dangle Dial,
Yeah.
if you're working at the Fan right now and it's in the archives,
Send it in.
No,
Send
please,
it in.
please, for the love of God, don't. But here's that's one of the photos from our podcast shoot. Why are they using that? Anyway, sometimes a host who was not Jeff Blair
Mhm.
would have to handle the Dangle Dial. And I assume either no one explained to them what the hell it was, or they didn't care what the hell it was. And the bit would go even worse than usual. Because Jeff would he would react to it, and sometimes his reaction would get like a genuine chuckle out of me.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was filling in for him, but they just sat there and waited for this awful fucking bit to be over.
I'd love.
It was terrible.
You know what I'd love? I'd love Sid Sixero to hear that and break it down.
Oh,
Wouldn't it be great to have his take on it?
Yeah.
There's something about that where he'd be like, because he and Tim were they were big stars on that station at the time, right? I would love to know. I would love to know what Sid thought of that.
Jesse's searching far and wide, and it's weird that you can't find anything about the sensation sweeping the nation. Everyone loved the Dangle Dial. I like Blair, but that Dangle Dial is awful.
But a tweet from February 8th, 2016.
Wow.
Of somebody just calling the Dangle Dial awful. That's
You
all
did
I
it
can
at
do.
2016.
There's one like on that. Is it me? Is it Adam? No, it's some guy named Jordan.
Don't. You don't need to shout out who liked the hate
No.
tweeting.
It's no. It's like, dude, it was bad. is bad. But I don't do it anymore.
What else do we have? Anything else? Any other questions?
Here, yeah. We'll do one final thing for the weekend. It's the long weekend. We all gotta have fun. We all gotta have a good time in the sun. And that's why we are gonna rank our top 3 flavors of ice cream.
Oh.
Wendy Mayer WRM1225 on Twitter asks, since it's nearly summer, top 3 flavors of ice cream. Go.
One does not get this belly without consuming vast quantities of ice cream. One does not.
Oh man, this is really hard.
I have to pull
Do
up
I
Dairy
have to
Queen.
do top 3 or can
Let's
I
go.
just say
No, you're going 3-1.
Oh man.
No, come on. You got to make a choice here.
Oh man.
So we're going to do 3 around the room, 2 around the room, 1 around the room.
Oh, okay. You got to give me a second. This is really hard. I'm struggling with my life.
You know, guys,
What?
I need you to know that my number 1 is the number 1.
I think you might be wrong.
No, my number 1 is the number 1.
What is it?
I'm not going to tell you. Now, it's important, by the way, that you tell us where you get the ice cream to. Like, what brand of ice cream? Because if you say, like,
Yes.
chocolate, it's like, well, there's a bazillion types of chocolate. What kind of...
Brand is very important for me.
Okay.
Okay. Oh boy. Okay.
So what's your main brand? Tell me your core brand for ice cream.
Oh man. Oh, this is so difficult because it depends on mood.
Mm-hmm.
And like Jesse's got it up right now. I'm so hungry right now. I'm gonna say Dairy Queen
Oh.
cheesecake
Number 3?
Blizzard is number 3.
Okay. Now, Jesse, give us your number 3.
My number 3 is Oreo cookie.
Oreo cookie Dairy Queen.
Oreo ice cream.
So like that could be McFlurry,
as long
Blizzard.
as it's real pieces of Oreo. McFlurry, awesome. Blizzard, awesome. As long as there's real pieces of Oreo in there and great ice cream, Oreo is my number 3.
Oreo
It's probably my number
Oreo
4.
ice cream.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It might be my number 2. I love it.
Could be my number 3 on certain days.
Okay. I don't know if you've ever been here, but there's 2 locations in Toronto. Ed's Real Scoop. It's
I know
like
that.
double cream ice cream. It's the amount of cream that takes to get this double chin of mine. Ed's Real Scoop. They do the best mint chocolate chip I've ever had in my entire life. And straight ahead mint chocolate chip. Oh, there's a lot of haters of mint chocolate chip. It's one of my favorite. But straight ahead mint chocolate chip is hard to do right because everybody goes, well, that's boring. Let me try to zhuzh it up. No. Simplicity is key with mint chocolate chip. Ed's Real Scoop does it right because they make it insanely delicious. The flavors are as colorful as the mint. They blast you. It's amazing. You should try it. Number 3.
2, Steve.
I don't know if I have the brand right,
Okay.
but I believe it's Laura Secord
Ooh.
bubblegum.
Really?
Oh,
I don't like the chunks of bubblegum, but the flavor of the ice cream itself.
Do you swallow the bubblegum?
Yeah, sometimes.
I was wondering if it's like the
I haven't had it
chiclets
in a
ice
very
cream.
long
Like, I wonder what the pieces of gum actually were.
Nah, it's usually, I want to say, I think it's the Laura Secord one where it's flavored like bubblegum, but it's not,
Actual bubblegum.
it doesn't have the chunks.
Which
of
I
it
don't
in
want.
it.
I don't want
No,
that.
I don't want it either. That's the problem.
Whose idea was that?
To me, the flavor is amazing, but like, who wants chunks of this chewy shit that you can't digest in your ice cream? That makes no sense. But I think it's Laura Secord. Doesn't have the chunks. Big fan.
Jesse.
my number 2 is your number 3, Adam. Mint chocolate chip.
Attaboy.
But I would like to throw in an asterisk because I want to throw in a very specific mint chocolate chip. Dairy Queen has a Girl Scout Thin Mints Blizzard mint chocolate chip ice cream.
That's ridiculous.
I've never
The
heard of
girls,
that.
you know the Girl
Me
Scout
neither.
cookies?
The
Thin
ones,
Mints?
like the Thin Mints?
The Thin Mints
Which, by the way,
ones?
are the best when they're cold.
Yes, they have a Blizzard version of that.
Out. Is it
It's
is it available?
It's a limited time only. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Girl.
Why?
Wow.
Yeah.
Why is it limited edition?
Okay.
All right, Adam.
I
number
doubt
2.
you guys have had this, but you guys are aware of Kawartha Dairy.
I am aware of Kawartha Dairy.
Kawartha Dairy is very good. Local ice cream, but it's a bit bougie here, but it's delish. Moose Tracks. Moose Tracks
Very
ice cream.
good.
That
Okay.
doesn't sound good.
Now,
Right.
It's a horrible name.
It's a horrible name.
Terrible name.
This show is rated R.
It's got
apparently.
fudge sauce.
Sorry, it's actually called Moose Droppings.
It's got peanut butter cups. It's got just fudge throughout.
That sounds
vanilla ice
amazing.
cream
It's
and
very
brownie pieces as well.
It's extremely good.
That sounds
It's-
awesome.
Moose Tracks. That's what you need. That's what you need in your life. So good.
Wow.
Pop an edible. Have a bowl of that. Dangerous.
I get that. That sounds good.
Dangerous. I'm just throwing that out.
Pop an edible and 6 lactates.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, you're not feeling good. Especially Mr. Lactose, who should be lactose free over
I
here.
lack so much toast.
Oh,
Yeah.
I also lack the
Yeah, but have you been in the same room as Jesse when he's eating cheese and in a
Farts
confined
aren't
space?
good.
I think Jesse and I could like power a small car, probably.
I almost
between
died.
us. Yeah.
Make a little smart car. Yeah.
We had free pizza at the radio station once.
Like
I
a
almost
yacht.
died.
Ah, pizza.
Jesse almost killed me. Okay, Steve, you're number one.
What's your number one?
Number one, it's funny that you should mention the number one destination of the better
Okay.
in society, like just the best people. My number one comes from Kawartha Dairy.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
Black Raspberry Thunder.
What's in that?
A smooth white chocolate ice cream with the tangy taste of black raspberry puree and white chocolate chunks. Black Raspberry Thunder.
Wow.
Frigging rules.
You have a different palate
yes.
than I do.
Yeah.
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 You know?
Yeah.
You like more sweet.
I do like sweet. Oh,
Yeah.
like my wife is always like, like she won't finish a dessert because she's like, this is too rich, and I'm like, that's not a word. I don't know what. Yeah. Oh yeah. This is too sweet. Shut up.
Never heard of it. I want my teeth to fall out of my head.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
a
yeah.
horse. I'll eat a sugar cube. What are you talking about? It's too sweet.
Yep.
Too sweet for you. Brush your teeth. Go to the dentist. What are you talking about? Too sweet.
Jesse.
My number one, the Blake and Wild Berry from Menchie's.
Oh,
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. No offense to
Adam had his
Menchie's.
own flavor.
I did have my own flavor of ice cream, and it didn't taste great. But I'm
anybody-
still up in Menchie's all over Toronto.
If anybody
Oshawa, too.
from the GTA is ever at a Menchie's, Adam Wild, his picture is up in Menchie's
Yeah.
amongst the famous people.
Yeah, it's like Justin
Adam-
Bieber, me
Yep.
and Blake, Selena Gomez.
It was called Blake and Wild Berry. It was 2015, and it was a great time.
It was a great time.
It's the most radio promotion ever.
Oh yeah.
I kind of liked it. It was cool to walk in, and it was there. Like,
Oh, yeah.
literally, you pointed it out. It was like Blake and Wildberry, and it had the logo for Kiss on it. I was
But,
like, this is cool.
There are no B-list celebrities in Menchie's. You're right. Selena Gomez, Justin Bieber, Kim Kardashian, Taylor Swift, Taylor Lautner.
Yeah,
like,
Taylor Lautner.
like, dude, like everyone.
All the Taylors.
All the Taylors.
Taylor Kitsch.
and then
And then
local
there's-
radio stars.
Lake and Wild.
We weren't even the biggest stars at our station.
Yeah, weren't you guys the afternoon show?
Yeah, Roz and
Oh,
Mocha were the big stars.
Oh my God. How don't they get Roz and Mocha? His name is Mocha.
I know.
There's a flavor built into his name. Nope. Blake and Wild Berry. Boo. Name sucks. Boo.
It tasted a little like medicine.
It wasn't good.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
It wasn't.
It wasn't great. Listen, I love Menchie's. It wasn't great. It was one of their
wasn't good.
best. Everybody swings and misses sometimes.
Well, the thing with Menchie's is if it's not great, it's your fault.
That's true.
You get to make your
It's-
own.
you know what it
ice
is
cream.
though when you go into a Menchie's and you put the toppings on the because it's yogurt, right? It's frozen yogurt. That's really what it. You have to pick the right flavor as a base flavor for all the shit you're going to throw on top of it. And berry is a tough flavor to match. Like you just mentioned, you have to have dark chocolate with a cherry. You can't have middle of the road. You got to, you know what I mean?
Those are two things that individually are not my favorite. Together, iconic.
Right. Really, really
Yeah.
good, right? You can't, it's like you got to have milk chocolate with peanut butter if it's going to work.
All right. The idea of Menchie's is piling on a bunch of shit, and then when you start with the Blake and Wildberry, you can't really have fun from there.
Chocolate tastes like, it's like you just brushed your teeth and now
Yeah.
you're eating a piece of chocolate too.
Like peanut butter tastes good with certain types of chocolate, but I think you're right. If it goes darker, I feel the damage I'm doing to my body.
Yeah, or if
I feel how
try
dehydrated
vanilla
I am.
ice cream with peanut butter, unless it's in the Moose Tracks context, it's not the same. You know what I mean? Chocolate and peanut butter work better together. Does that make sense? Anyway,
I'm getting it.
My actual number one is the Choco Brownie Extreme Blizzard.
Ooh.
My favorite ice cream in the world is Blizzards. If I get ice cream, I rarely ever eat ice cream because I lack a lot of toast. And if I do, it's Dairy Queen. And if I go to Dairy Queen, I'm getting a Blizzard. And if I get the Blizzard, it's the Choco Brownie Extreme.
I like
it's my favorite ice cream in the world. And I love I could really classify this as any brownie ice cream. I'm a huge chocolate person. And if you're throwing giant chunks of brownie into my food, it is the best thing in the world to me. So that's my number one, brownie ice cream.
Butterfinger, it looks elite. Reese's Pieces, also sneaky elite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't really think there's a bad ice cream.
No.
Adam, what's your number one?
My number one is Ben & Jerry's. Chocolate and vanilla ice cream with fudge brownies and a brownie batter core.
The brownie.
So it's got the core in it and it's batter. Because there is a chocolate, just like an all chocolate with brownies, which is good. But they never put enough brownies in it. The brownie batter core ensures that you, when you scoop, will get enough because it's in the middle.
Oh.
And it is muy bueno. The greatest. The Tonight Show one that I know sells really well is not very good. It's not my favorite.
What?
I don't like the Tonight Show. Would you like the Jimmy Fallon one?
I hear it's very good.
It's okay.
My girlfriend Gabby loves Ben & Jerry's, and she
It's
gets
great.
it all the time. And I forget what's the one? It's like half baked. Half baked is the
Half
one
Baked. Yeah, it's
that she swears by.
That's not what I thought you were going to say. I
That's
forget.
that's chocolate vanilla with fudge brownies and gobs of chocolate chip cookie dough.
Chocolate fudge
Oh,
brownie's
yeah.
good. Cherry Garcia is
Cookie dough.
iconic.
Yeah.
Mint
dough.
chocolate Chance the Rapper one, really good.
The cookie dough didn't make our list.
No,
That's kind of surprising. I would. Oh
It's
my!
so-
I love
it's-
cookie dough.
It's tomorrow I'll give you a totally different list. Like it's,
Right.
it depends on what you're craving at the moment.
Okay, so-
number 0 for me, Dangle Dial Dingleberry.
can we get this made
sounds
into,
like shit.
Can we make this into a graphic and then like put it up on our Instagram or something like that?
Sure, we'll try.
Because that'd be kind of. I would love to know people's takes on that. I really want to know what your top 3 power rank.
Emu.
Are you guys a cherry ice cream people? No. Yeah.
I'm not a cherry guy.
Yeah, not
They're
really
fine.
a cherry guy. There's something cherry I had recently that I really liked. I don't remember what it was. That's another. Cherry is very situational.
Okay.
for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's he knows this.
It's very It's a very hockey term for a flavor.
Well, like
It's
if
a
you're-
situational play.
I like chocolate and peanut butter.
Yeah.
But if it's like a 40-degree day, I'm not like, you know what I need right now? Salty ice cream.
Okay.
You know what I
know what
don't
I mean?
like?
Yeah, yeah.
It would be at the bottom of my list. Salted caramel. Don't like it.
Okay. It can be extremely good. It can be extremely shit.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah. Why would I take that chance when it's ice cream and I know I can get good ice
Agreed.
cream?
And that's the thing,
You know?
right? Yeah. Especially as you get older.
Yeah.
Less experimenting, more. I can't have this very much. So I'm gonna have the shit.
I'm gonna
I know
have
I
ice cream like 50 more times in my life.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna waste one on salted
100%.
caramel.
Thank you.
You know how the flavors should taste roughly the same from brand to brand to brand. The variables or variations, whatever, in butterscotch
Yeah.
across the brands, they range from just what was this left in a car and refrozen to elite.
Yep.
Man, you just reminded me I need more lactate.
There it is. So, you know what? From that, we will wrap it at the ice cream power ranking. Now, it's a long weekend in Canada, so we will be back Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday next week. Don't forget to look out for a CJ show, also brand new today. And Game Over Calgary. Boy, they're doing a great job, and what a game to break down. Audie and Peter, shout out to them after every game.
The Steve Dangle Podcast.
Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada's Sportsbook.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.